Do I have your attention now? Do I have it? Good. I thought so.
Yeah, the Muppets are back. Welcome to the Muppet Show. I told you it was going to be this way. I told you they were going to come out of the woodwork. Here they are. Especially now that we're going to go into 2026. We're going into 2026 hot. Oh, yeah. Your favorite and mine. My favorite Muppet today. Brett Cooper's back. I'm back in the hot seat. Back in the command center here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Rational Now. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Commander Kyle is in the battle station once again. We're in One Studios in lovely, scenic Las Vegas, Nevada once again. Thank you for watching. Oh, here's my... Okay, so this is my new best friend.
I am encouraging a red-pilled alternative movement. I'm going to get into what red pill actually is and how that can fit very snugly within being an alternative person in whatever subculture you want to be in. Goth was never about politics until about 2020. Don't think it was always like that. It wasn't. It's gaslighting. Don't fall for the con. Goth is now just Antifa and black lipstick. Ankh belts. It's not even recognizable compared to any other of these subcultures. And there's a reason for that, because it's all about control. They want to control the way you talk and the way you think and the stuff that you say and the stuff that you believe. In Red Pill, we reject this entirely. This is not about being conservative. Red Pill is getting out of this daydream. It's about removing the blindfold. Renounce these things, these structures that they've put in place as a form of control. Red Pill is getting the out of this shit. Waking up, seeing the real horrors out there, and doing your best to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
Turn one.
Speaking of horrors.
I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm not home, like, did you experience that?
I still experience that. I still experience that. I'm almost like, I'm always in.
Call her daddy is like everything that is wrong in like the whole fucking universe.
Therapy, talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you, even for yourself, like even the things that made me feel confident and cool, then what are you doing?
Curry is a perfect example of why it is so important to have a hoe phase. Go be a hoe. Be a hoe. But be a safe hoe though. Like, protect yourself and don't get pregnant. That's why she's sitting over there feeling trapped. Trapped with Steph Curry. Sometimes you gotta go through some stuff to really appreciate what...
I'm sorry, let that sink in. Trapped with Steph Curry. Trapped. Okay.
You have. She probably ain't never been hoed. She probably ain't never been drugged through the mud by a dude. She probably never been. She probably never had a heartbroken time and time and time again. That's why she can't really appreciate what she has, because it's like, I need something edgy. I need something fun. Like this mom stuff. This being married to Steph Curry, this shit is boring. And now she's really rebelling.
I'm sorry. She's married to Steph Curry. It is boring.
She want to be in the streets. She want to be desired by other men. She probably want to do something with another man because she probably never experienced that. Like, when did they get together? Like high school or something? That is not enough time to be out in the world and do
Wait a
stuff.
minute. That was too good. She wants Tupac.
Experience stuff. Like, you don't have to experience a whole lot. But I don't think she experienced anything at all. And now she's tied down, married with kids. You can't go do your thing right now unless you go do your thing and run the risk. Like, you ain't just no Lucinda from down the block. You're Aisha Curry. If you go mess with any...
I'm sorry, remember, Aisha Curry. That's your surname. That was the last name you took when you got married. You ain't know Ayesha Curry when all this was going down.
Body, trust me, we gonna know about it. Watch.
This is the reason why you should never take advice from women, because black women will literally have you crashing out and have you missing out on your blessings. I cannot tell you how many times that I've talked to women or I've had conversations online, and I asked them after they spilled all of their trauma as to what it is that's wrong and why they can't find a good man. And, you know, and I ask them all the time, I said, hey, is it a possibility that you passed up on a man that you were supposed to be with? And they like, yeah. And then that's the statement that usually humbles them. And that's unfortunate, because she talking about, hey, she needs to do this, she needs to do that, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And again, all it's going to do is have her missing out on her blessing. I cannot tell you how many women that went out there and got STDs and STIs. And I've done hundreds of videos of different people that say, yo, I got HIV, I got herpes, I got all of that. And so all of these women are single baby mamas sleeping around with the same women. Meanwhile, there's other chicks out here that can't wait to get them a Steph Curry, can't wait to get them a $1 billion guy, can't wait to find them a guy that's going to hold them down, that ain't cheating on them. But if you ain't cheating on them, if you're not dogging them, if you're not slapping them, according to a lot of these women, if they haven't put you in the ground, and if they haven't donkey messed you up, then you're not a good woman, or you ain't ready to get married.
Ayesha.
Definitely not.
Oh,
The more famous your favorite influencer is, the more traumatized they probably are. And I can show you why you've been taking advice from some of the most broken people in society. You don't become Alex Hormozy when you had a beautiful childhood of being unconditionally loved and accepted. Only a deeply troubled person chooses to sacrifice every relationship, every moment of peace.
Can somebody explain to me why all of these guys have the same fucking haircut?
Every other aspect of their humanity, just to accumulate more money than they could ever spend in 10 lifetimes. That is not success. That's unhealed trauma disguised as ambition. David Goggins is running 200-mile ultra marathons on destroyed knees because for some reason he believes he's worthless if he's not torturing his body. Kobe Bryant's own family and teammates said he was pretty miserable to be around because he couldn't turn off the obsession. Everything he accomplished in his career came at the expense of basic human connections. Tim Ferriss has interviewed every top relationship expert on the planet, but he can't hold a romantic relationship in his own life. And he's been courageously open and vulnerable about his romantic struggle.
Yeah, sometimes getting shit done is what it takes. Sometimes getting shit done is getting shit done.
But that level of obsession with efficiency and optimization leaves people emotionally unavailable. Our modern society straight up isn't designed for happy, healthy, fulfilled people to rise to extraordinary fame. It's
Yeah, but apparently not. Otherwise, I'd be a whole lot more famous.
designed for the most traumatized people to claw their way to the top. Because trauma is what creates obsessive drive, and that's what our system rewards. Normal, healthy, well-adjusted people do not sacrifice their health for millions of followers. They have...
Okay. The system rewards. No, the system doesn't reward jack shit. You know what it takes? It takes an insane amount of drive and ambition, which you clearly don't have because you're sitting in your Honda Civic somewhere in some parking lot right now recording.
Have self-worth that isn't tied to external validation. And you are not some kind of loser because you haven't achieved their level of success. You're not quite broken enough to feed the machine. Stop taking advice from people who hate their lives. Share this one with someone who needs to hear it.
Yeah, listen to me, man. Listen to me instead. I don't hate I love my motherfucking life, man.
I made dating into like high-key prostitution. Like y'all are really trying to slide it like it's not. Like, hey, I done gave you my time and my time costs. And they like, for a date? I feel like the date is the payment. Like, I feel like me taking you out to dinner, that's not enough compensation. You're like, no, I got bills to pay. I don't got time to waste. Ooh, why are you on this date? You didn't have to accept it. You could have said no. Like, I'm not in a place in my life where I can date right now. Like, y'all will accept dates and then want a man to pay for your time. Tell me that ain't prostitution. If y'all don't quit fucking playing, if you just selling that coochie, just say that. Say this cooch for sale. My time is for sale. Say I am a high-key escort, but I want to keep it low-key. Because that's what y'all are giving.
You know who else's coochie was for sale?
thing I used to tell new Christians, I said, the worst part about God knocking on your door and waiting for you at the door listening is
what the fuck is up with his haircut, man? Jesus, Joseph of Mary.
that he could see, hear, and feel the devil opening up your window and sneaking in, corrupting your children, stealing from your house, breaking the home.
By the way, this is George Janko, and he's interviewing, just to give you some preview here. He's interviewing Nala Fit or Nala Ray or whatever she's called, Nala the puritanical nun right now.
Too. And he just keeps knocking on the door waiting for you. All of this could end as soon as you just open the door and say, hey, come on in here. Right. A lot of people feel like they have to clean up the house before Jesus comes.
You know who he looks like? He looks like Voltan from Flash Gordon, the Hawkman leader.
Leave the house messy. You don't clean yourself up before you go into a shower.
Facts.
So you don't go to God after I clean myself up.
Right.
Regardless how much clean you get, you're still filthy in the eyes of God.
Right.
Open
you're filthy.
up the door now. If you're smoking, go to church high. If you're drinking, show up in the last row throwing up if you have to.
Right.
And any man who says, don't bring people high. Listen, people that go to the hospital are sick.
Thanks for telling us that, brother man.
You marry me, baby, because I love you and I want you to be my baby for the rest of our lives, and I want to die next to you. I want to be that couple that lives next to your mom and sits on rocking chairs and drinks wine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Stop, I'm sorry.
Stop.
I had to.
A theory that the better physical condition a man is in, the worse psychological condition that man is in. No, to the extent to like whenever I see like now if I'm just out and I see a really like in shape guy in a very tight shirt, all I want to do is just take him aside and be like, bro, who hurt you? Like what? Here man, eat this cookie. It's gonna be okay. You are enough.
Don't you love how like feminist therapy speak becomes like stand-up comedy now? All right, I gotta let that. I'm gonna let. There's music in this that I have to let right out.
Words, that video says a billion. Both those widowers had their husbands publicly and violently executed in front of the entire world. Yet look at how each one mourns. Jackie comes out wearing a black veil.
Okay, let me stop it right here. Comparing, I like Charlie Kirk, don't get me wrong. Comparing Charlie Kirk to a sitting assassinated president, and that president was John F. Kennedy, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but I agree with the rest of it.
With her children along her side, in a somber memorial, in a quiet funeral. I know we're supposed to celebrate someone's life. No, we're not. It's supposed to be a somber occasion, dignified, with respect to the one who passed. And yet, look at Erica. She's coming on stage like she's Hulk Hogan, with fireworks going off in her white corporate boss lady pants. She's wearing white, hanging all over Trump. Usually it's Trump who gets in trouble for touching women inappropriately. In this case, it might be Eric who catches a #MeToo charge from Trump.
Let me tell you something. If my wife, gentlemen, if my wife is not like mourning my death, like years after I'm gone, if I go prematurely, I expect there to be ash on her face and nothing but make sure you hold her to that. Okay.
Oh, sorry, I'm late. Hey, sir, welcome in. What time was your appointment? Why do you assume I'm a man? Well, never mind. What time was your appointment? Well, it was at 2, and it's 4 o'clock now, but it's not my fault. Society's out to get me. Okay, I don't even want to know. Just take the iPad, check me. All right, so what brings you in today, sir? Day? Honestly, Doc, I'm just here because I've been feeling oppressed. Yeah, and I've just been feeling like a victim of the patriarchy. And I don't even have the energy to go to the protests. Yes! Yeah, that's low key. I'm gonna put you on 200 milligrams of test a week. I'm gonna see you back here in 30 days. Welcome back, Vay. Sure. All right, what time's your appointment? 5 o'clock. I'm actually 10 minutes early. All right, we're 30 days on T. Any lingering feelings of oppression? Oppression? What am I, a sissy? Okay, great. Loss of victim mentality and any lingering frustrations with society's power structures? How about this for a power structure? Great. Patient no longer concerned with mindless nonsense? Kinda. And how about those protests?
Doc, I have a job now. I don't have time to protest.
Yes! Well, looks like you were never a liberal after all. You just had low T.
How many times have I brought up exactly that that subject on Access Vegas, man? God, I've said that so many times. I remember when I first started TRT. All right, okay, so let me explain to you something. So I started doing TRT. Hi, welcome to the Rational. I'm sorry. What is that, Doc? Wait, let me see if I can do that. There. Where's the light? Where's the light in here? Okay, that's good. Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. Give me the lumberjack jokes now. Come on, let's go. Where is it? The Powerhouse Gym. This is a Powerhouse Gym logoed. Wait, okay. Just they'll never believe me unless I do this. See? There you go. All right. So there is actually a Powerhouse logo on the back of it. Thank you. Paul Bunyan collection. Yes, you're right. Keep going. Give me some more. Come on, lumbercuck. Come on. Like, yeah. I know. No, when I first started doing TRT, let's see, it was in almost 2 years ago. Coming up on 2 years. In January, it'll be 2 years. And I wish I would have done it sooner. But I remember. I think I was. What was I? I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks in, and Mike's like, "How do you feel?" I go, "Fucking great, man. I want to do stuff." He goes, "No, you're not even feeling it yet." he's like, "I asked you because like everybody says the same thing. It's a placebo effect. You get shot. Hey, I'm getting a needle stuck in me. Something has to happen, right?" And he wasn't wrong because I was like, and then he goes, "Talk to me at 10 weeks or 12 weeks, right?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." So 10 weeks, 11 weeks rolls around, and he goes, "Okay, now how do you feel?" And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Cause he's like, the colors in your world change. Yeah. And I'm like, you are absolutely correct about that. And so I get it. And then I can remember, like, I think it was in the summer of, it would have been 2023. Yeah. And so it was summer of 2023. And we were still at Sticky Paws for Access Vegas. Yeah. And we got on the topic of TRT, and I was like, you know what, man? I said, I'm of the opinion right now that if you took these kids who are like these nihilistic, despondent, doom pill, BLACK pill, because I know we can't say those two words together now because you get flagged for that on YouTube. Those guys, doomers. I think we say doomers. I said, if you gave them 150 milligrams, 200 milligrams of testosterone per week, and you give them 8 or 10 weeks, I said, I guarantee you they will go from being like these nihilistic doom pill kids to like being like, man, I got to get out there and sarge. I got to get out there and game, man. I'm like, God, I got to get to Vegas with the rest of those guys. And suddenly they would like go from being like this, walking around like dull, like pensive and looking at the ground and everything, listening to fucking Linkin Park. Yeah. Then suddenly they're listening to Slayer right afterwards. But no, I thought that was a pretty good, because it's accurate, man. I think it's pretty accurate. Welcome to the Rational Male. Today we're gonna get into, like, people keep saying like, Rolo, why do you keep doing these shows of, like, you gotta feel like you gotta respond to these things? I don't feel like I gotta respond to these things, but if I see something that I think is worth responding to, and I think that there's some lessons in the response itself, then I'll do it. Like, I know this sounds stupid because I'm going to totally contradict myself. I don't do red pill I don't do red meat videos just for the sake of the red meat. I only do those if I think that there's something in the red meat that I could actually like sort of tease out, and I can like talk about like certain aspects of, like, say, the red pill, right? Or we can talk about intersectional dynamics, or we can talk about Evo Psych or Evo Bio or whatever else. If I go and just put out, and you guys make me do this, if I have to, like, if I go, okay, fuck it, I'm just going to do a show today, and it's just going to be about alpha widows. It's going to be about the war brides dynamic. It's going to be about mental point of origin, all the great stuff that I write about in this book, available on Amazon. If I could go chapter by chapter in the book, and people would be like, but if I go, oh, Yeah, here's why Brett Cooper is wrong, and here's some aspects of why she's wrong, and they happen to also be in the book. Then everyone's like, let's have more. Yeah, feed me, my precious. So I am I am going to dig into what everybody has been asking me to respond to, because apparently your favorite and mine, Pearl Davis and Myron Gaines, have talked about Brett Cooper's sort of run up the flagpole of the red pill thing, whatever she thinks it happens, the ideology, right? So I'm going to go there. She's 100% wrong about fucking everything. And here's my advice to you before I even get started in that topic. Brett Cooper, get new writers. Stop relying on your team or whoever's giving you your content team, because you've done this show before and it was better before than it is on this one. So get new writers, because I know it ain't you that's doing this on your own. And if you are, quit. Stop now. Just go home, because you don't know what you're talking about. And that's the thing. I probably should bring this up in the very beginning here, because I see this happening, and I'm sorry to say I see this happening with Andrew Wilson and hell, even me too. I'm mea culpa, right? When I talk about like getting up to the gate, like we'll never get past the gatekeepers, the key masters, the gate. We will never get past the gatekeepers, because you can get up to the gate, and if they like what you're doing, if they like the red pill and you happen to be part of that, and they go, oh, red pill, that's trending on here, hashtag red pill, right? If they see that happening and they go, oh, who's talking about this? Oh, Rolo, we'll take here. I'm over here on this side of the gate. They'll go, okay, I'll grab some of that. And Myron Gaines, I'll have some of that. And let's see, a little bit of Rhinestone, and I'll have some of that. And then they take it behind the gate, and then they cobble together what I'm about to talk about today. And then the net product of that is what Brett Cooper comes up with, or her writing team, or whoever's doing her content for her. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but that's what I mean when I say, we get up to a point, and rather than saying, hey, Rolo, why don't you come in past the gate? No, that doesn't happen. We go, oh, we like that. Let's have some of that over here. We like what Myron's saying. Let's take some of that over. Oh, Andrew Tate, lots of Andrew Tate. Let's grab a shit ton of Andrew Tate and bring it over. But never have Andrew on that side. Never have anybody who could actually, reveal your fucking narrative. No one, anybody who might reveal your narrative or might take pull back the veil on the Great Wizard of Oz, then we don't have them. That's too dangerous, because it's a threat to their brand. I get it. But what they do is they create a narrative. And so what happens is, like, I see all these people who will like say, well, why don't you debate so-and-so? Why don't, or what is it? Like Patrick Bet-David or Joe Rogan, or I'm trying to think of some other big namers. And they'll say, well, why don't you have so-and-so on your show and you can debate that topic? I'll never get the call. Or Pierce Morgan, I'll never get the call. Or, Tim Pool will give me the call. I have gone on Tim Pool, but I don't get those calls. I never really debated. Like, Tim didn't want to debate me. I was supposed to debate like the other guy, the Catholic guy, I forget his name. Dude, I'm so sorry too. It's like, it's Thomas something or other. But why do I not get that call? Well, the reason is because I would ruin the narrative. The thing is they preset the narrative, and they don't. The part of that presetting, part of that narrative is they don't talk to you, or they don't know who they're talking. You don't know. They never mention names when they're saying the red pill guys, the red pill ideology, those dudes over there, those guys over there are always saying X. Well, who are you talking about? Well, if they told you who they were talking about, it would ruin the narrative, because they're only there to deliver narrative. They don't want to debate. Nobody wants to debate anything, and nobody debates anyways, but they don't want to have anybody who would come in and conflict with the narrative, because it's the narrative that makes dumbasses like Rolo and dumbasses like Pearl and dumbasses like Myron respond to those narratives. And so therefore the content just keeps flowing, and we get into this churn cycle, which I guess I'm a part of right now because I'm about to talk about this. But I wanted to bring this up at the beginning to let you know I am fully aware of what I'm about to get into. And I was like, Rolo doesn't know. Why would he amplify it? Well, because I think that we can tease out some good like messages out of stuff like this in the first place. So hopefully that'll be how it works. Okay. Last week was a small world. I could throw a rock and hit his HS. J. Cole being gay doesn't surprise me as he looks like the blue-haired dude. Oh, okay. So you're talking about, did you see the CBS
I have not.
thing? Oh, okay. So did you, do I saw that? So if you look at the thumbnail from last week's show, I put, what's his name? Johnny Cole. Johnny Cole is the guy he's one of the teachers at the high school that has like the sort of round group of boys, teenage boys. And everybody was like, when Mike and I were doing the commentary on that, everybody's going, I don't know, man, my gaydar just went off, right? And sure as shit, that dude is flaming homosexual. And I think it's funny, and thank you. A great example. Thank you. That's the narrative. They don't want you to go and do any homework on any of these guys because, why would you need to? Rolo will go and do it for you, and they'll go, thank you, Rolo. Bring it over to their side. But CBS failed to mention that Johnny Cole is a homosexual and a very vocal advocate for it. On top of that, all you have to do is what I did. Look up Johnny Cole on Instagram, and sure as shit, you'll see all kinds of reels and videos and everything else. And they're holding this motherfucker up as someone who should be teaching positive masculinity. He knows better than heterosexual fathers who, by the way, thank you for pointing this out. Not a single father was on that show. Not one. Not one. If they would have had me on there, there at least have been one, right? But not one. Not a single father. And I love you, Mike, but Mike's not a father, right? And I thought that was interesting that in fact, the only father that was mentioned was the father who was incarcerated, who was, they were interviewing the kid who was raised by the single mother who wanted to know what kind of man he wanted to be. Well, where's your dad? Can we talk to him? He was actually he was only in prison for like 2 or 4 years or something like that. They didn't talk to him. And then at the very end of the documentary, like Andrew, they put in a black screen in white letters, Andrew Tate was unavailable for comment for this. Of course he was. Of course he was unavailable for comment. All right, let me get some announcements real quick. And by the way, super chats are much appreciated. They go to Ned's college fund and my medical insurance now. But yeah, I was going to say Justin Waller would most definitely ruin that narrative. Absolutely. And yes, okay. Do we talk about this? We should talk about this. Okay. Yes, I'm fully aware of what's going on with Ty Lopez right now. I like Spencer Cornelia. He's a bro. He's here in Las Vegas. I watched his sort of, all he did was just read the news. I don't think he was like sort of, I think he was the most neutral, objective voice in all the shit that's going on with Ty Lopez. Ty Lopez, by the way, is, let's be honest, is going down for like a Ponzi scheme. He is on the hook for $112 million for investments. I don't know that he even has right now. Who knows? But Ty's also, so he's on the hook, but more than that, he could be facing criminal charges now because he did actually take profits to the tune of about $16.5 million from all of that crap. So he is also on the hook for criminal charges as well, or should be, at least according to what Spencer was saying. I'm fully aware of that. That's out of my wheelhouse. But yes, I understand. Thank you. Moving on. We're going to have the Reignite meetup, which is going to be at the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of this month. And it's going to coincide with the Tao nightclub costume contest, which will be on the 30th, not Halloween. Halloween's on Friday. The contest is on the 30th, which is on Thursday at Tao nightclub. And if you've ever been to the Halloween thing at Tao nightclub, there's a reason we're doing it there because it's off the hook. It's huge. So, and yes, if you participate and you want to be in it, let's see, hold on. Guess what? You can go sign up here there it is right there. See? Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see if I can get it. That's the QR code for Reignite Alpha. So all you got to do is just check that out on your phone. That will send you, because you can't actually put links in the stream like when we're streaming, but you can do that. Thank you, StreamYard, for allowing us to generate QR codes on the fly. New feature from StreamYard, which is the software I've been using since it was in beta. So anyways, so we have the Reignite Alpha meetup, which is coming up. I don't want to call it a mastermind. I'm sick of that funnel marketing crap. My marketing is anti-marketing. I'll pitch to you, but I'm not gonna turn it into some shuck and jive jazz hands. There will be no jazz hands in my marketing attempts. So anyways, just want to let you guys know that is coming up on the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st of October. We've got our quads lined up too. I think we're going to go ride ATVs on the day before. We will have a meetup and so, just hanging out. It's low key. This is our fall stuff, so it's not quite as big a deal as like say the Miami White Party or Swim Week in August. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's only 3 days, so if you happen to be able to do it, please come along. You don't have to be a member of Reignite to get involved. You can just pay the entry fee or the registration for the event, and that's fine. And all done. No harm, no foul. But if you want to. If you are already a member, guess what? You get to go. So check us out. It's reignitealpha.com. Once again, I will give you the QR code. There you go. Cool. Everybody got it? Awesome. All right. What else do we have in the news? Oh, what was the Aisha Curry? Holy shit, man. Like when I was looking at that video, I was like, okay, I knew she was like this because remember when she was on Red Table, was it Red Table Talks with with Will Smith, with Jada Pinkett Smith, right? Yeah. And she was on there and she was talking about how she she feels lonely or she wants to, and I'm not okay. Yes, I am.
Well, I'm a whore.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is what happens. There's a article I wrote a long time ago on the Rational Mail, and it's I think it's a chapter in my third book, which is Positive Masculinity. Again, available on Amazon. Go get it today. But the chapter or the essay was called "Making Up for Missing Out," and that's really where Aisha Curry is right now. She's making up for missing out. She is with Steph Curry, I would dare say a Hall of Fame, NBA. Is there a Hall of Fame for NBA? Yeah. It's most like one of the top players in the NBA. Let's just be honest. And wants for nothing, has his babies, has his last name. Nobody knows Aisha McGillicuddy. They know Aisha Curry. You have Steph Curry's last name. No one's talking to you if your name is Aisha McGillicuddy. Okay, no one is talking to you. So let's just be straight up here. Okay. I love it. I've got another video later on that sort of like ties into this. I don't want to give it away because it's too good. That's too good to say it. But I'm going to talk about a little bit about that today. I'm going to get into before I get into Brett Cooper here. I also have, I think it's another thing from her. Call Her Daddy. Now, is Call Her Daddy? Was that the one that Mike Portnoy, Dave Portnoy, not from Dream Theater, I think so. Dave Portnoy put together, and it was Barstool Sports, right? Yeah. It used to be Barstool Sports, so maybe it's like a standalone now. I don't know if they're still associated with Barstool. They might be. Anyway, so the chick that's on there, she features heavily in, part of today's show. What's that bitch's name? Is it still Barstool Sports? I wonder if it's still Barstool Sports. Hey, thanks for that, Sammy, for putting that up there. Yeah, you can go pick that up. That's in the chat right now if you want to go read that essay. That's where Aisha Curry is right now. She's making up for missing out. What's her name?
It's Alex Cooper.
Not Alice Cooper. Alex Cooper.
Yeah, Barstool Sports.
Yeah, she's still Bar. Okay, so
still on, yeah.
Let's put we'll put a bookmark in that because we're going to come back to the very fact that Dave Portnoy still owns that fucking show. Okay, so that's very, very important, Brett Cooper, because whoever was doing your writing your content for you, they missed that little detail. Just gonna say. Oh, so anyways, did you guys like Jake Monroe's little monologue today? Because he's actually doing different. I can tell Jake has read the book because he was saying he was reading The Rational Male, and he hasn't got back. I mean, he might still be reading it. I'm not sure, but like I can tell some of the ideas are kind of sifting over into the goth scene because he was already kind of like definitely not the typical goth. Let's just say that's one of the things that sort of drew me to Jake Monroe is first of all, he's very well spoken, highly intelligent, good looking kid too. I'm not no homo, but good looking guy too. He has his own band. I'm like, dude, come to Vegas, I'll play. Let's go. You need a guitarist, a bass player? I don't care. By the way, I am still looking for a singer and a bassist right now. So if you want to join Jinx, I need those those slots filled. And you happen to live in the Las Vegas area, Jake Cope, my other drummer, still in the band, but like I'm in need of a singer and a bass player right now. I kind of put the band on hiatus because of my medical conditions, and now I have a better idea what's happening with me. So I am sort of looking for. I'm going to be auditioning or just like hanging out, trying to find some people, looking for some players. So if that's you, please let me know. No, she's not hot. You think she's hot? I trust me. I have made the case to Giovanni, God knows how many times. And if Giovanni like moved here, I would bend over backwards to get him in the band. Big Mo. Should I have Big Mo?
Tell these bitches.
Should I have Big Mo in the band? I would do that. You know, it's funny. There was one time, like, because Big Mo comes from a very musical. People don't know this. He comes from a very musical background. His mom owns a music store in the Miami area. Yep. The dude has like. I have this really, when I was going out to Miami a lot back in 2022, 2021, I was going so often and I was playing in Trial of Ascension at the time that I couldn't let my chops down. Like I'd have to like practice stuff while I was there. So what I did was I bought a really nice, like sort of a electric nylon string acoustic kind of thing. And I had it sent to Justin Waller. and that's when Sterling Cooper was living there. And so I had Sterling pick it up. And so when I got out there the next time, he gave it to me. And so what I was doing was kind of like passing it back and forth because I would just leave it there. It was my Miami guitar. So I had it there and I didn't have to carry it all the time. And when I finally got to the point where I had to fly back with it, I didn't have a case for it at the time. And I was like, oh shit, how am I going to bring this on the plane? And Big Mo came through, man. The case that it's in right now is the one his mom gave me to put it in there. And I was like, fuck, this is great. That's musicians for you. So anyways, yeah, I would do that. At one point I told Mo, and I would love to do this because Mo's more of like he's kind of like R&B, like, and I know he kind of raps and stuff like that. Would you call it reggaeton? Maybe not, because I know he's Panamanian or he's Dominican or something like that. I think he's Panamanian. But he does that kind of style of music. And I told him one time, I said, if I could get a bass out here, I could like do some bass stuff and he could just like freestyle rap doing a bass kind of thing. I thought that would be kind of fun. But anyways, Cooper is really a 14-year-old boy in drag. Don't say that about my girl. Actually, she's not my girl. She's Justin Waller's girl. You guys don't remember that? Do you remember the connection between those two? Yeah. Oh, Haitian. Sorry. Yeah, he is Haitian. You are correct. He's not Panamanian, although he has like that Panamanian flag all the time. But anyways, big shout out to Big Mo, who is like one of my best friends in the world. So, and he knows that. He knows I love him. So anyways, we're going to get into Brett Cooper today. I'm going to talk a little bit about this exchange that really got my blood boiling with the Call Her Daddy chick. In fact, you know what? Let's jump into that really quick because this is sort of like a precursor to Brett Cooper, because Brett Cooper mentions Alice Cooper on this, and I wanted to make sure I put this on there. Did I do? No, not that one. Oh my God. Oh, and then before I jump into that, okay, Rachel Wilson and Andrew Wilson have a scheduled debate with what is it, Chloe Roma from Roma Army, that chick. All right, I'm gonna tell you what to expect, okay? Because I'm not sure they know who Roma is, okay? she's somebody that we have been fucking around with and like you're locking horns with, just sort of like low key locking horns with ever since the Rule 0 days, like from way back in the day. So I've got a little bit of a history with her. So I will, that's also coming up as well. Where did we put that one? Not that one. Not the hoe phase one. Aisha Curry. No. That one. Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I knew it was I didn't know if it was my intros or my main video drive. Here we go.
Like, this isn't a male loneliness epidemic. This is a skills gap. Justin saying men don't ask hard emotional questions of their friends.
Sorry, I apologize. No, this is not Caller Daddy. This is Triple J the Hookup. I looked that up, by the way, on Instagram. I'll let this run.
They're afraid to, or they don't know how to. Patty again saying, in my opinion, guys aren't very good at checking in with each other or follow-up questions. It's a lack of social skills.
And I really love this framing. And this was actually something that Pip and I saw on Vulgar Drawings.
Shout out Vulgar Drawings.
Yeah,
we love you.
We've had her on the pod before. And she spoke about this as being a skills gap. She said, here's the problem. When people use the phrase male loneliness epidemic, it feels tonally wrong, right? It's because
catch that. Like, listen to the language in this. Okay, all right, put me up in there. Check the language out in here. It feels like this. It feels. No, it's not feels. That's the thing that kills me about this kind of shit. And let me back it up just a touch here.
Vulgar Drawings.
Shout out Vulgar Drawings. Social skill. Opinion, guys aren't very good at checking in with each other or follow-up questions. It's a
because guys don't check in with each other. Because they don't. You know why? Because we process emotions differently than you. Stop making it about fucking you. Men are not women. The blank slate is a lie. We are not the fucking same. We do not emote the same way. We do not have, you know what's funny is like, I have been on, I do this with pretty much all my guy friends. I do this with Mike all the time. I do this with like Jake. I do this with you actually. It's like, if I call you up and I'm like, hey man, are we good for the show? Yeah, we're good. Okay, cool.
That's it.
Click.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, is that how you hang up on? I'm like, yeah, we just business done.
Yeah.
You know? Same thing with Mike. Mike's okay. Well, I can seriously have like a half an hour conversation with Mike. And we'll talk about some good shit too. I mean, we'll talk about like the latest, like if I throw an article at him or say, hey, we should probably bring this up on the show. This is some good topics. Let's do this. Let's make sure we put this in the notes for the show and everything like that. And I'll do this whole, like, we'll have this conversation. And like, okay, we good? Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's all. There's no, how are you doing? How are the kids?
Bro, like you didn't even text me this morning. You didn't even need to check.
I didn't check. Well, I did ask you on Friday, I think, but because you were out last week. But like normally, yeah, I just showed up. I knew he was going to be here, you know? And it's like, we don't do that shit. We don't have to do that shit. We're guys. Okay. We don't operate like you. We don't. Kyle, as long as I've known you, have I ever said, Kyle, let's go to Starbs and catch up?
Never.
Like me looking at you right now is like as close as we get to like having a conversation, for fuck's sake. You know, it's like men communicate different. Just because we don't communicate like you doesn't mean we don't have feelings. Doesn't mean we should have cried at the end of fucking Titanic. We're not emotional retards. Okay? We just don't process emotions, especially negative emotions, the same way you do. And I can prove that today. I've got so many fucking links to so many different stories, to so many different research, data sets and experiments and all this other shit that will basically show you that men and women are different. We are different down to the cellular level. Our brains are not wired the same way. We are not that we put rationality and unconditioned. We put rationality and reason and empiricism before we put emotion into it. Not that we don't, we do, but we figure shit out before we figure out how we felt about it. Women figure out how they felt about it and they go, well, we better fucking do something to solve the problem, if they even get that far. Because remember that, was it that comedy skit? Was it It's Not About the Nail?
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about that on Access Vegas last Wednesday. If you didn't see it, it was a good show. Kept me busy though. But no, it's not about the nail. Like it's the reason why that skit's funny with the guy who's like trying to solve the woman's problems. Like she's just like, I've got this pain in my head and I don't know what's going on. It's just right here. And she turns and like there's a nail in her head. And the guy's like, well, I bet if we took that nail out of your head, and she's like, it's not about the nail. Like, I mean, like pissed off, right? And the reason why is because you pull the nail and solve the problem, then there's nothing left to talk about. Because that's what men do. We are deductive problem solvers. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't have to talk about our feelings. We go and we talk about the information first. That's how men converse. It is blunt. It is ugly. It's apes going, yep. That's all it is. Okay. It's Scooby-Doo. That's what it is. Okay. And then once we get there, you good? You good? Okay, bye. That's all it is. It's two cavemen fucking talking to each other. You know who you want, you know who you expect to embody this shit is those same guys who are talking about the guy who wants to pull the comedian with the long hair wants to pull great hair, by the way, wants to pull the guy off and go, who hurt you? You know who says who hurt you? Women say who hurt you. Why? Because it's an emotional reframe. I was talking about that on last week's show. You have these rational, empirical, hard-hitting, informational, data-driven, statistic-driven conversations. And when you run out of gas, who hurt you? Because you can't converse in that language anymore. So you default to your native language. What is that? Emotionalism. And the language of empiricism sounds a lot like hate to the language of emotionalism. And when you don't understand that, that's when you start shaming people for shit like this.
Lack of social skills.
And I really love this framing. And this was actually something that people...
It's not a lack of social skills. It's a lack of hardware.
And I saw on Vulgar Drawings.
Shout out Vulgar Drawings.
Yeah,
we love you.
We've had her on the pod before. She spoke about this as being a skills gap. She said, here's the problem. When people use the phrase male loneliness epidemic, it feels tonally wrong, right? It's because it's passive.
Feels tonally wrong. Tonally. So if we change the tone, it would come out different, right? No, the information is the same fucking information, whether I yell it at you or I go, oh, it's the same information. Oh, I'm feeling a little bit more sensitive today. So let's get in the trust nest and talk about our feelings, right? No one's doing that. Guys don't do that. But generally speaking, men don't do that. I'm sorry if that's tonally wrong. It's not tonally wrong. The data is still the fucking data. You can call it whatever you want to.
AKA, it implies it's happening to men without them having any involvement in it whatsoever. I think instead it should be called the skills gap. Men are victims of the patriarchy too. They haven't been taught to value emotional skins like women have.
Okay. Haven't been taught to value emotional skills like women have. No, wrong. Wait, there it is.
No, you're wrong.
You're wrong. Men don't have the same hardware as women. Men don't have that same propensity, that proclivity. You know what's funny is I can throw a ball or a rock or whatever way more accurate and with more force by doing that because I'm a guy and that's a natural proclivity. Your natural proclivity is to emote. It's emotionalism. And there's nothing, by the way, nothing wrong with that. But at the very least, find that distinction that men here, woman here. Okay. Emotional, not so emotional. Okay. It's not a skills gap. It's not because the patriarchy. It's not because they weren't taught shit. Women weren't taught to be more emotional. They were born that way. That's the operative. That's their operating system. That's their evolved evolutionary firmware that's already there. And because men don't have it, there's something wrong with them. They weren't taught. They missed that day in school.
Hey, Willow, I'm gonna cheat on her. That's skill gap.
Yeah, that's
right
skill gap.
That's
Yes, skill gap. I'm gonna cheat on her.
Skill gap. Get skill gap right there.
Yes. Because that's totally wrong. Tonally. What you said? Immaterial. It was tonally wrong. If you say that differently, Kyle, say it in a different tone of voice, and then maybe we'll want to listen because you weren't taught. You missed that day in school, an emotional day in school. You missed that. You just weren't taught that well enough. You missed that fucking homework assignment, didn't you, Kyle?
Emotional skills like women have, nor have they been taught the importance of building friendships and community.
So are you telling me that men, by this logic, are you telling me that men would be more perfected men if they were more like women? The more like a woman, the more a guy identifies with a female, the more the guy identifies with the feminine. He's in touch with his masculine, or is in touch with his feminine side. He's emotionally expressive. He cries on demand and whatever else. As that's a more perfected male. And he just simply missed that fucking day at school because society was inept. Society, the social constructionism will be the end of your fucking mindset, will be the end of your fucking ideology, ladies. Because at some point, like I'm saying this now, so guess what? Some smart motherfucker is going to be beyond the gate and go, oh, emotionalism, rationalism, social constructionism, the blank slate. Yeah, let's bring that over here. And some very popular, more popular than Rollo, TRADCON, or I don't know, Evo Psych guy, or some experimental researcher is going to say that on Joe Rogan and go, this is fascinating. I've never heard this before in my life.
This is a breakthrough.
Where Rollo said it in 2020. Actually, I said it way before this, but Rollo said it in 2025. It's now 2030. This is great. This is novel shit. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. Oh my God.
Like women have. And I just think that's such a great way to phrase it. It's like, this isn't a male loneliness epidemic. This is a skills gap.
So once again, your fault. It's your fault for not developing those. Go to therapy. How come you're not going to therapy? Oh my God. Okay. Before I jump on. Okay. I had to get that out of my system before I got into Brett Cooper because I had to get the I had to do the shock to my. I needed the shot of Anadrol before I do the Anavar. That's the Anadrol. Anavar's coming up. Here we go. What do we got? Women's brains cannot understand behavioral genetics. No, they can't. Well, in their defense, a lot of guys don't understand behavioral genetics. The 4 laws of behavioral genetics, which will, again, be the death of emotionalism, social constructionism, the blank slate, and egalitarianism. Pull those over the gate. Okay. We all cried at the end of Blade Runner 20. Yeah, because it was such a shit movie. Yeah. And no woman will ever understand why. No, we cried at the end of Saving Private Ryan. Actually, in the middle of Saving Private Ryan. But I feel you. I get what you're saying. Okay. Do you think women are obsessed with the blank slate due to them being followers, copycats, lacking independent thought, and having the hive mind? Because no, I think that's just the blank slate fallacy of the blank slate feeds into what feminism has been selling for a long time. As I said before, if you take out the 4 pillars of really wokeism, feminism, any ism, if you take out the 4 pillars, and those 4 pillars are emotionalism, the blank slate, social constructionism, and egalitarianism. You take any one of those and they fall apart, but take all of them away. Every single ism, every feminism, wokeism, liberalism, leftism, climate change, whatever the fuck it is, take that away. Take any one of those pillars out and it comes crashing to the ground. Seriously. And all of those are disproven, completely debunked fallacies, okay? The blank slate is horse shit. We are not born equal. The 4 laws of genetic behaviorism ended the nature versus nurture debate. And guess who won? Nature. Okay? Because nurture happens to be downstream from nature. It's really that simple. And so when you look at, we plotted the human genome, and that pissed off a whole lot of people because it ruined a lot of this Enlightenment era thinking that has been have been bastardized and reused and corrupted right through Jungian psychology, all the way up through Maslow, all the way up through militant feminists of, the militant feminists of the late 60s and early 70s, up to where we are right now. And we still cling to those four fallacies. Egalitarianism is a great way to organize society. No, it's not. That's a female way of organizing society. And yes, somebody sent me this. I'll look it up too. But somebody sent me I think it was a year ago, maybe it was like 6 months ago. Helen something or other. I can't remember her name. She was part of not Turning Point USA, but some other conservative think tank. And she was basically rattling off all the stuff that I have been saying since like 2010 about how women organize society in communitarian collectives. Collectivism is basically what it is, because that's how we evolved. Men evolved to be hierarchical because we were the hunters, and women evolved to be egalitarian, or to be communitarian at the very least. So when you put women into positions of power, they tend to organize society like socialism, like collectivism, like communitarianism, communism, whatever. Everybody gets egalitarian. You get one and you get one and you get one. It's a distribution of wealth. Look, I lay that right at the feet of women. Okay. And to them and to that psyche, it makes a lot of fucking sense. But you can't organize a society that way. Men organize societies hierarchically. And the reason we do is because women fuck guys who are at the top of the hierarchy scale. That's why. So when women complain about like, oh, men this and men that, well, stop rewarding those assholes at the top that you call narcissists and dark triad personalities. Stop rewarding dark triad personalities with pussy. And shit changes. You want nice guys? Start fucking nice guys. That's as simple as that. And Mike's talked about this a million times, and it's not going to happen because we're not wired that way. So guess what? You know what a better way to organize society is? Hierarchically. And we've been doing it quite successfully in Western societies for a very long time, right up until, the sexual revolution and the advent of hormonal birth control, when we decided to empower women. Anyway, somebody sent me this video. I will see if I can dig it up. It's really good. It was like 15 minutes long, so I don't know if I really wanted to dig into too much of it. But it's almost identical to what I've been talking about when I talk about how women and men organize societies differently, which comes back to how they communicate, which comes back to how, alpha fucks and beta bucks, everything else, it's all connected. It's all, which if you want to know more about it, get my new book, Reignite, which I'm announcing right now. It's coming out in the middle of this month. The digital, I just got the digital back from the guy who does my digital, my KDP stuff, Kindle Digital Publishing. And then I'm doing the layout for the print. And then I will be doing the Audible after that. I usually put the print and the digital and the Kindle files go first, and then the Audible comes after that. But I'm announcing that today, right now. What are we at? We're almost at an hour. Good. Okay. Do I have your attention? Good. Yes. Reignite.
Your attention now.
Thank you. Good. Do I? So that's coming out probably about the middle of this month. So Reignite is my 6th book of the Rational Male series, coming out the middle of this month, and it I'm going to do a dedicated show once the book drops, once it's available for purchase and everything out. And I'll explain this in a little bit more detail. But I've said this before: is it's interconnecting what we would normally, or what we have up to now, really thought of as separate topics or separate concepts within sort of understanding intersexual dynamics, which is the red pill, Brett Cooper. And understanding those concepts. And then what I'm doing is kind of taking a holistic approach where I'm like connecting the concept with concept. Okay. When we talk about organizing societies and political and social, structures and stuff like that, male and female, the intersexual dynamics plays a huge part in how we organize societies. All right. That's part of the book. So that's coming up very soon. It will be out the middle of this month. Stay tuned. It's coming soon. But to answer your question, do I think that they are obsessed with the blind? Well, they don't. Here's the thing. They don't know they are. They presume that is how everyone else thinks. The correct way to think is like a woman. In fact, I was going to say this is men are not even human. We are absolutely dehumanized because women think that the only way to be a fully realized, full capacity, a full human being is to be female, is to think the way they think, is to emote the way that they emote, is to agree with everything that they have to say. This, the patriarchy that like the chicks in that video, they're oblivious to anything that would contradict any of the concepts, and they don't even understand the concepts that what they're saying are based on. I do, and so I'll talk about those things. It destroys destroy those concepts, and it destroys their rhetoric. But if I go and I say that, as I said before, the language of empiricism sounds like hate to the language of emotionalism. So what do you get? They run out of gas. Who hurt you? What was your family like? Do you know any actual women?
Derail.
Yes, derail, reframe, redirect. That's what it is, because they run out of gas. But the thing is they're not even aware of that. That's how bad this is. They're so oblivious to the fact that they don't even know where it's epistemology, right? They don't know how they came to the beliefs that they have. Maybe mom told them, maybe Beyonce told them, maybe Cardi B told them, maybe they heard it. Who?
They're passive bullshit.
Passive bullshit. Yeah, exactly. There maybe a teacher said something, maybe it's a music, maybe it's pop culture, maybe it's religion, maybe it's their favorite influencer, maybe it's some bitch that they know on Instagram. I don't know. But the thing is, they don't question it. Everyone agrees with me. That's why when a woman says, or a guy for this, like the long-haired dude, right? Who hurt you? The presumption in that question in who hurt you is you must be you're fucked up, and everyone in this whole room knows you're fucked up because you're yoked, right? Everybody in this whole around here agrees with me. And so when I say who hurt you, I'm reaching out. It's weaponized forgiveness is what it is. And the Christian culture, churchy culture is rife with weaponized apologetics, rife with weaponized forgiveness, right? And how do they come to that conclusion? They come to that conclusion. I'm presetting you for Brett Cooper here. They come to that conclusion because they presume that a female experience is the correct experience. The reason why men are fucked up is because they're not women. As simple as that. The guys always say, "Oh, sure, it's going to be a man's fault." No, yeah, but I get it. Women want to always pass the blame. But you know why they're passing the blame? Because they can't conceive of any other reality in which being a woman is being fully human. Being a man is dehumanized. You're not even fucking human. Like, well, remember how like Mike and I talk about like the 80% guys who are like just invisible to women? Like they don't hate you. You're just invisible. They just don't see you. They're indifferent to your fucking existence. Why are they indifferent to your existence? First of all, you can't do anything for them. They don't want to fuck you. You have no money. And they don't have any interest in you. So why would they even recognize your fucking existence? You stock the fucking shelves at fucking, Costco. You stock the shelves at CVS, man. They look right through you. You're not even, it's not malicious. They just don't see you because modern westernized women, women in general, if you're not somebody that can do something for them, unless you impose your existence on them, you want to know why women hate it when guys come up to them and they don't like those guys or they want to reject those guys? Is because you're inconveniencing them with your existence. Oh, you exist? That's the thing is like if a guy's not attractive and a guy doesn't have any game and a guy's like, we always like, hey, Brett Cooper's going to say the same thing. Guys, just go out there and ask girls out. Yeah, you're one of those 80% stock shelf stalkers at Costco. Hey, you want to go out sometime? Who? Well, I thought I heard something. There's something around here. They don't even see you. And if you impose your existence on them, it's an inconvenience. Now it's an inconvenience to them. Now they have to acknowledge your existence. Oh, shelf stalker guy. You're a nice guy. I'm sure any woman would be happy to marry you. Yeah. So it's an obliviousness. So when you talk about, oh, do they not know the blank slaters? It's not malicious. It's just that they like women in Western society, weird societies, westernized, educated, industrialized, democratic, rich, weird, rich societies. When women are raised in those that cultural narrative, I guess, anything that is about empowering women as a sort of the gynocentric social order that we keep talking about, you don't exist unless you. That's why women want you to go to therapy. You're not enough like a girl, so we want you to go and feminize yourself to the point where like maybe you want to actually physically feminize yourself, right? So I don't think it's a malicious thing. I think it's just the way women are. It's about the reality of the situation. You don't exist. Men aren't human unless you're attractive. Unless you might be in the 20% and you're like, he's okay. Unless you're Justin Waller and you're in the 4.5%. That guy might be human. We'll make an exception for him because he's so hot. Why do girls use the term life partner and not boyfriend? Because they pick that up from homosexuals. It sounds more gender neutral to say partner rather than, you notice that you never want to say husband and you never want to say wife. It's always partner. In fact, I even called out Jedediah Bila on that one. Stop using their language. Their language. Stop using their language. People keep asking me like, Rolo, what can we do about this? How can we push back against the woke narrative? They want to have like protests and they want to have like, like go and shout out the, whatever. No, you know what the best way you can do? The first best thing you can do, stop using their language. Stop using their pronouns. Stop misgendering them. No, I mean that literally, because if you go and you say, if he's a he, actually a biological male, and he wants to be called female, call him he. Oh, you're misgendering me? No, I'm actually gendering you accurately. Because this is what you are. You're a biological male, and I am actually doing you the favor by not playing into your neuroses. In fact, I'm helping you by gendering you accurately. I'm not going to use your pronouns. I'm not going to be beholden to your rules. I'm not going to play into your psychosis. I'm going to help you out. I'm doing you. This is an act of love by calling you the gender that you actually are. Because hopefully, in some way, it shakes you up and you reevaluate your life. I'm going to go home and rethink my life. Hopefully, at some point along the way, I am never going to do. God, dude, I'm so bad because I got into this habit. Okay, whenever I go to Starbucks, right? If I go to Starbucks to get something, by the way, when did Starbucks stop selling coffee? Right. So, like, you got any coffee? Yes. What flavor would you like? Coffee flavored coffee. But I go there and there's always some guy who looks like a chick behind the counter. There's always one, and then sometimes more than one, but there's always one. And it's almost like that's like the hiring requirement for a coffee place in general. I'm not just going to pick on Starbucks, but there's a guy, and I don't want to use his name because I know him like by his first name because it's like on his thing, right? Yeah. And well, he goes by a male name, but definitely looks on the feminine side. And every time I go there, and I'm only there once a week because whenever, in fact, I was there today. Whenever I go to walk my dogs in the morning on Sundays, my wife and I go to this park, and then when we're done at the park, we come back, we get coffee, and we go back, right? And every time I see the guy and he like gives me my shit, I go, thanks, bro. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. You're misgender. You're accurately gendering him, right? That's all it takes. They're not going to say anything. It's something you're trying to be cool with them, right?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, man? It's fucking great, man. That's all it takes. If you stop using their language, like partner, like identify those things, become sensitive to those things, become sensitive to the language, and refuse to use that language. Like, what was it? I've seen so many times on like when I look at like C-SPAN or something like that, there'll be some sort of congressional like discourse, like a debate or whatever the fuck it is, and some chick will get all bent out of, or panties getting a wad because some guy said something that was culturally or genderly misaligned or whatever. I don't know what the fuck to call it, right? And she just said, "Oh, when you say it like that, blah blah blah." And then the guy refuses, and then there's just back and forth because it's this refusal to do that. But whenever that happens, pay attention to the language that they're referring to, and stop using the language. That's the best thing you can do is don't speak their fucking language. Speak in the language of empiricism, not the language of emotionalism. Get it done, especially if you're a guy. Like, I understand women are going to default primarily to emotional, communications. Got that. Ladies, if you have any, gumption, if you have any notion to want to change things for yourself, start using the language of empiricism. I know it's not your native tongue, but start using that. Instead of using partner, say husband, say wife. Don't say partner. I hate to even have to say that, like your brother, like Miguel. Yeah. Whenever I introduce myself, this is my partner, Miguel, my business partner, Miguel. Got that? You understand that, right? We're on. He's not my homosexual lover. He is my business partner.
When I explained like Charlie and Miguel's business, I was like, yeah, my brother's ECC and his part. It always sounds
I know.
bad.
I know. I hate that you have to specify that right now. Even Mike, Mike's my co-host of Access Vegas.
We're like, pause.
Yes. Why? I know. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm not even referring to my wife. I would never refer to my wife as my partner. She's always been my wife, and she would be the same way with me. And it's just that's how we organize things. Why is it that blue pill guys are getting relationships and red pill guys seem to be getting chicken scraps? Chicken scraps? Do you think that the relationships are good? Like, what's the chicken scraps? Like, I need a little bit more. Jacob Harding, I need a little bit more context to this. Like, what's the benefits of the relationship, and what are chicken scraps? See, the thing is blue pill guys are not aware of intersexual dynamics. They're still operating on an old set of rules that nobody's using. So I'm not going to look at like the relationship side of things. I'm going to look at the red pill and the blue pill side of things, right? So if red pill are getting chicken scraps, like, what are chicken scraps, first of all? And I would tell you this, I would rather, like, what is it? Would you rather be happy, or would you rather be right? Would you rather be in the dark about things and you've got a relationship because you don't know any better? Is ignorance bliss? That's the next thing, right? So if you don't know any better, are you better off? That's why when people say, well, a woman has to have, she has to be a virgin bride. Well, yeah. Why is it that virgins last longer or stay in their marriages longer? Because they're Aisha Curry. Because they don't fucking know any better. Who's a girl that we were talking about? Kirsten Bell.
Kristen Bell, yeah.
Kirsten Bell. Yeah, we were talking about her.
Dax Shepard's wife.
Dax, yeah. She's saying, I wish I would have fucked more guys. That's not, I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I wish I would have fucked more guys when I was in my 20s instead of fucking this guy my whole life. Basically, that's what she said. Great compliment. Ladies, never fucking say that, okay? But I understand. It's making up for missing out. When women you want to know why women, like, there's a very, very well studied subject. When men and women get married at earlier ages, they tend to end up in divorce. Why is that? This is the Rollo Tomassi theory, is that women tend to live vicariously through their, like, younger married women tend to live vicariously through their girlfriends, and they realize what they're missing out on, right? So when they get to be 30, which is right around the epiphany phase, they've been married for 7 years. If they got married at 23, right? Then they've been married for 7 years. And for those last 7 years, they have been, and by the way, the average age or average duration of a marriage before first divorce is 7 years, right? It's between 5 and 9. So 7 is the mean average. So they get to that point. They go, I've been missing out on all this good dick that my sisters and my best friends and everything I see on, like, you want to know why Aisha Curry exists? Instagram. That's why all her whole girlfriends are out there having a good time at Zook and Hakkasan and Omnia. And she's at home taking care of babies. She's playing house. Remember when I ran up Michaela Peterson up the flagpole for, Kill to Party? That's how you get killed to party. I am not living the life I wanted to. I could be out there hoeing it up with my friends. I'm now 30. I'm going to divorce this motherfucker, fuck my kids, and I'm going to go out to Omnia.
Every time.
That's kill to party, right? You're not actually killing somebody, but you're shirking your responsibility. You're like, I don't want to be mom anymore. I want to fuck. I want to go out and have a good time. That's basically what Aisha Curry is saying. So, yeah. So would it be better to be ignorant of that and in the relationship, or would it be better to be red pill and aware of it so you can protect yourself? Ginger Prometheus. Oh, Jesus Christ. This guy. What's that guy? The redhead guy that's always on Chris Williamson, who, by the way, has Lyme disease. Whoa. Ginger Prometheus appeared on Soft White Underbelly. Why are women in the comments celebrating him for unhealed inner child and attachment wounds crap? Because he's recycling attachment theory, which has been debunked back in the mid 80s, I think. Attachment theory is every now and then attachment, like strong attachment, or was it a secure attachment, insecure attachment, da, 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 da. By the way, all of that flies out the window with the 4 laws of behavioral genetics. Okay. So guess what? Your personality is actually far more dependent on your genetics than it is on actually your upbringing or your parents or whatever else. So all that crap about secure attachments and non-secure attachments, all of that was debunked back at least by the mid 90s. So let's just call it what it is.
Yep.
It's bullshit. It's astrology. So why are they celebrating him? Because women love astrology. Because women love MBTI, Myers-Briggs. They love shit like that. They love Enneagrams. They love tarot cards. They love anything that's good at giving them sort of like secret knowledge, or they can categorize things, right? Oh, you're one of those kind of, like, if they can put you into a category, into a pigeonhole, any system that seems somewhat that's tonally
great.
Tonally great, or tonally, satisfying. If your system is tonally satisfying, then yes, they're going to believe in that bullshit. That's why Ginger Prometheus, who, by the way, if I was ever on them, I would knock his dick in the dirt when it comes to attachment. His entire brand is based on that, and he can't not be about that. That's why. And that dude desperately needs retatrutide or semaglutide. But that, baby, that's just the lifting brawl in me, man. Who hurt me? Maybe it's the internet, social media that's causing all of this foolishness in the world, gender wars, political threats, etc. Things getting worse. Okay, yes, but because we're more aware of it. Remember when I was telling you about Faces of Death?
Yep.
And I told you about
VHS,
and stuff. Dude, like after we did that episode, and I was looking at I don't know why it comes up at night. Like whenever I'm like, I'm checking my socials, and I'm checking because I talk to Mike usually, because he's usually getting up when I'm going to bed, right? And God forbid if it's like 11 p.m. and you're about to go to bed, don't check Twitter. just avoid Twitter.
It is October,
because it will be shootings channel or stupid criminals or car wrecks, or whatever it is. It is nothing but Faces of Death. You will go to bed stressed out and fucked up. So don't do that.
You want to spike your cortisol real quick?
Yes. Okay, here we go. What are chicken scraps? Instead of chicken scraps, I should have just said not getting relationships. Why is that the goal? Which is really what I meant. Okay, well, the thing is it's because you think that a relationship is the operative in everything. And so here's the thing. It's like, you can be, there's plenty of dudes that are blue pill, beta, whatever you want to fucking call them, that do get into relationships. It's like, what is the relationship about? Is it like, is that the litmus test? Right. And that's really what a lot of people are really kind of having to come to terms with in the 21st century right now. How are we going to do relationships? How are we going to do marriage? That's the thing that gets me about like TRADCONS, like Brett Cooper, is that's always the goal state. They never say what comes after that. Yay, we did it. We got married. All right. Now what? Now what?
What's the rules of engagement?
Now what? Oh, she's not fucking me anymore. Oh, we had 2 kids. That was the goal. I'm going to be better. I'm going to feel good. It's going to be totally satisfying. No. Like, you're going to have to fucking work that much harder, man, because now you have the responsibilities for all that. And if you don't, then some other dude's going to come in and say, you're not living up to your responsibilities. You're not a real man, right? Like, when you get in a relationship, Nothing fucking changes. Really, nothing changes. Like before you get in a relationship, you go, you know what? You'd be able to find a nice, good, hot, Christian young woman. They're out there, totally out there. You just need to, if you, what is it? Jordan Peterson, if you want a princess, you need to be a prince. Get the fuck out of here. You married Tammy. She was fucking some other guy, lived with some other guy, turned you down 3 times for your fucking marriage proposal before she said yes. And you were the prince after the 3rd time. No. The shit that all this stuff about responsibilities and all this other whatever, be a better guy, right? You know what? That doesn't go away when you're in a relationship. If anything, it fucking goes up that much more, because if you don't, then now you're it's child abuse because you're not helping your kids out that much more. Yeah, a burden of performance, yes, which by the way features heavily in Reignite. If celebrities are getting cheated on, then what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to survive and get into a great relationship? Get nerdy, girls. What is your advice? You don't come to this channel for advice. You come to this channel for information and education. You get to decide what you're going to do, because whatever I tell you, you're not going to do it anyway. You know what? You already know what you should do. You just want me to give you permission to go and do it. Okay. Go do it. Here you go. Vaya con Dios, man. You go out and do what you got to do. Because I will tell you right now, the thing about it, I love it. This happens all the fucking time. Who's getting divorced? Oh, it's Keith Urban and what's her face? Kidman.
Yeah,
Nicole Kidman. Yes.
I mean, who could have seen that coming?
Oh man, fucking Tom Cruise is like, gotcha, bitch. Oh my god. Oh, there you go.
Gotcha, bitch.
You know, Tom Cruise is laughing his fucking. You know, it's funny. It would be great if you saw Keith Urban and Tom Cruise like hanging out together after
they're doing like know, Ben Stiller and Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. They're like supposed to look like each other and laugh like each other.
And Keith Urban gets money out of that deal, not her. She's the one that has to pay him like spousal support, not the other way around, because she's worth way more than Keith Urban is. Thought that was funny. And, it's funny. It's like, so now women are like, "See, red pill guys, this is a complete contradiction to what you said." one celebrity says, "Oh, bravo, you got ding, you got 1 point." There you go. Here's 1 point on the board for you. 1 to 1 bajillion. Women love things like astrology, blank slate. They are easily brainwashed via the hive mind. They should be allowed to vote. Given all of these problems. Should they be allowed to vote given these all? That's kind of a moot point. They're allowed to vote. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to take their vote away from? You know who'll fight you the hardest? Guys. Men will fight you the hardest because they think that if they fight for women's rights to vote, they're going to get pussy. Those 80% guys that are invisible, they step up to the plate and say, "Well, little ladies should be able to vote." Fuck you, you fucking Neanderthals. Like those guys now suddenly become visible. That's why. And there's more of them than there are of you. Yeah. All right, let's get down to it. I gotta throw Brett in here. I apologize in advance. I really do. I am so sorry that I have to like subject you to the horror. All right. So this is from Brett, Brett, with 2 T's, Cooper. All right. If you don't know who she is, what the fuck are you watching this show for? If you don't know who she is, she used to be on the Daily Wire until she got canned by Bench. Is it Bench Bear? So she got let go by the Daily Wire, who tried to replace her with her partner. And then that's her partner, her real partner. Yeah.
Feminism, toxic masculinity, red pill bros. How on earth are people supposed to find a partner and find love?
Okay. Let me be the first to point out. Where the fuck is the makeup? She is pregnant right now with her first child. And like, she's a good Christian girl, got married when she was 21, something like that. I think she's like 21 years old or 22. Maybe she's 22 by now. She's with child. She's been impregnated. She has a sprog. coming out. Does that mean you don't wear makeup? Like, is that like, you know what? I'm pregnant. Fuck it. I'm done. Well, you're going to be on the podcast. I don't care. Just roll out of bed and do it.
In this insane dating landscape. I've talked about this a lot. We have talked about the Gen Z mental health crisis, which in my opinion is just a loneliness epidemic. We are so lonely. We have literally...
Okay, did we catch that? That's why I put that other one out there in the first place, the loneliness epidemic. Okay, so apparently that's what inspired her writers to give her this script to read for this video.
Been dubbed the loneliest generation. I know that we're trying to work on that, obviously, but even though that loneliness has been fostered through social media and COVID and all of these things, I think that the dating divide and the ideological divide has played a huge role. Wendy Walsh, who is a psychology professor at California State University, Channel Islands, and
Wendy Walsh, who is a psychology professor at the University of the Channel Islands in Newsweek, when we started using Newsweek as our source, okay. What TRADCONS use Newsweek as there's like, don't you guys hate that fucking publication? Okay, but
ambassador for datingadvice.com.
Who the fuck is this? Like, this is who your writers use as sources cited. Okay.
An ambassador for datingadvice.com told Newsweek recently that, quote, in the last few years, males have become increasingly conservative, and the most liberal and progressive group in America is young females. The political polarization is already creating problems in the dating scene. People in their 20s are either not dating at all or competing for a very small group of people who match their political views. And
okay. I don't know about you, Kyle, but I've been on Access Vegas quite a bit. And the last thing any chick on that fucking panel has ever said about any relationship or any was, you know what? I couldn't stay with him because he was a Republican and I was a Democrat. That never in 3 years of Access Vegas have we ever had that come up. Ever. Politics is not the problem, Brett. The social, like, I love how they try to make it about the social divide. The social divide is it's not a political thing. It's the empowerment of women that's been going on since the sexual revolution. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's keep going.
guys, as I am sure you are well aware by just being young people and humans in this weird culture, I'm sure you are aware that this divide did not happen overnight. And so we need to look back over the political landscape in the 21st century to see how we got here, and most importantly,
no, according to her, it happened in 2022.
what solutions we can employ to actually fix the situation. But before we do, make sure that you like this episode and subscribe to our channel if you have not already. And of course, ring that notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on every single one of our uploads. And if you want updates on all things Brett Cooper and live events and fun things that we're doing, make sure to check out brettcooper.com. Now, back to the show. I think that the easiest place that we can start is with men. And we talk about this all the time. I have been talking about this basically as long as I have been on the internet. And anyone who follows politics even remotely can see the way and understand the way that our culture has alienated men massively over the last decade to 25 years or so.
No, been going on really since 1965, but I can't like, she's only been alive since what, to 2000? Not even that.
And most recently, in my opinion, it has been the Me Too movement and the lasting impacts of that really...
The Me Too movement started in 2018. All right. Well, 2017 really, but like it was meant to be weaponized against Donald Trump because they were trying to find some way to, I don't know, legitimize legislation against him. Why? Because that was when the Stormy Daniels thing was going on at that point. And if they could get people like, was it James D'Onofrio? It wasn't him. Forget who the other guy was. I think they can get like Hollywood. Hell, they got Brett Kavanaugh, right? They were using Weinstein. Weinstein was easy, but like no, I mean it was weaponized. It was used to. They were hoping that it was going to be able to be used for popular, I don't know, approval, whatever, of a sitting Supreme Court judge, or a nominated Supreme Court judge, which was Brett Kavanaugh at that time, and they wanted to use that to prevent him from, like, to disqualify him from being on the judiciary, right? Same thing with Donald Trump. They thought they could get him with Stormy Daniels. Oh, he was fucking Stormy Daniels when his wife was pregnant, right? And so here is a president who has sex offense. They were really trying to get him on sex offenses and they couldn't get it. Well, how are they trying to make that stick? Me Too. And so you could say it was trust me, the Me Too thing lasted all of 6 months, 8, maybe a year. If you're lucky, maybe a year. But it wasn't the satanic panic of the fucking 80s. Okay. It wasn't some big, it wasn't some big earth shattering moment in cultural history. Okay. It came and it went and it's gone. And you know what? They'll probably get resurrected in probably next year when we get to the midterms. Usually midterms is when we see things like, Roe v. Wade's going to get overturned. It's the little ladies get a bone thrown to them at midterm time.
Unfairly generalized men as predators, which led to massive reputational damage. Innocent until proven guilty was basically thrown out in the courts of social media, in the actual courts of law. Like, that has just not been a thing anymore. There was and still is this attack on toxic masculinity, which stereotyped, normal male traits like stoicism or assertiveness as being inherently harmful. And
Okay. Toxic masculinity, and I'm going to quote Ryan Stone here. I got a hat tip to Ryan Stone on this. Toxic masculinity was coined by feminists right around 2010 maybe. And it was used to refer to inmate populations in prison. And then it got popularized after that. So let's go back to the roots so we know what we're talking about here. And then it got bastardized and it got exploded into everything. It's not toxic masculinity now. It's masculinity is toxic. So there's no qualifiers for toxic masculinity. It is only masculinity is toxic right now.
even went so far as to say that things like football and hunting and just like normal male hobbies were actually very toxic and were hurting America and were oppressing women. Women would say, F the patriarchy, we want to stamp out the patriarchy. You literally have women who say, I'm a lesbian because I don't need men. I don't want men. I could literally survive without them. We don't need them as a society. And all of this has been the MO for years now. And therefore society has shamed a whole generation of young men into thinking that they are inherently monsters or predators or less than. It has turned.
Okay, let's qualify this now. So this is where Pearl drops the ball. This is where Myron kind of dropped the ball. Okay. So remember what she just said. Remember what we were just talking about a moment ago when we were talking about society and the patriarchy. Whenever the word society comes up, you can be rest assured that a woman or a man with a female mindset is the one who is uttering that word. That is social constructionism. She doesn't even, again, oblivious to the idea of social constructionism, the blank slate, egalitarianism, or emotionalism, completely oblivious to any of this, okay? Anytime the word society made men this way, made men that way, yes, feminists, gynocentrism, because feminism is just the mouthpiece for gynocentrism. Gynocentrism is the problem, not the patriarchy, not that not even the social aspect of it. It's the empowerment of one gender and a zero-sum game to disadvantage men to advantage women. That's what this is really all about.
Them inward. It has made so many men insecure and feel like they don't actually have a place in our culture and our society, when in reality, you men are so important. I say this all the time. You are the backbone of civilization. You are the backbone of families. We literally cannot exist without you.
Yes. Yeah, we can't exist without you. Got it? Like, I think that what's funny is like the Red Pill's been talking about that forever. Like, remember when, like, you could probably go on Myron's show. You can definitely go on whatever podcast and see the guys talking about how, like the roads that the women drove to the studio on were created by men. The computers, the fucking cell phones that they have in their hands, the microphones that they're talking into, all created, conceived, and probably produced by men. Okay. And so we can throw that one out there over and over and over again. But the problem is really that's not what, ostensibly that's what people would like to think that her last comment was about. Really what it is it's, we need you to take responsibility. We need you to be servants. We need you to be the worker drones. We need you. We need men. We absolutely need men to work in raw sewage, to be the electricians, to be the construction guys, to work out in the field, to be the field hands, we need you guys. I wanted to stop it here because I was there's a part in my new book, in my upcoming book, Reignite, where I go into detail. And I've never done this before, but I go into detail about sociosexual hierarchies. And this is and I give him full credit. This is a concept that was developed by a good friend of mine, a blogger. His name is Vox Day. And so he goes through the different types, different sociosexual hierarchies, which, of course, everybody's familiar with the Sigma, right? Which is not really a sociosexual hierarchy. But it's alpha, it's betas, or bravos. Sometimes I guess he calls it that. Alpha, beta, delta, gammas, and omegas. Now, it's easy when we talk about alpha. It's easy when we talk about beta. We already know what a gamma is. That's easy to identify. Omegas are like the dregs of the universe, right? They're the guys who are never going to get it. They're the invisibles, okay? But what's a delta? What is the delta? The delta is the guy who is the backbone of society. The delta male, the guy who goes to work for 40 hours a week, puts in an honest day's work to get an honest day's pay. That guy doesn't care about podcasts. That guy does not care. You know what that guy does? He showers after he comes home from work, not before he goes to work. Okay? These are the guys who keep the lights on, who keep the potholes filled. These are the guys who go out there and get shit done. They are the delta males. They are average men. Average. And what have we said in the past about average men? Average women don't want to fuck or are not attracted to average men. That's the greatest problem that is facing society today. It's not about beta males or what have we got to do with beta males? We need beta males. No, it's not about beta males. It's about the delta males. It's about in the sociosexual hierarchies anyways. It's about the delta males. You lose the delta males, you lose society. And that's why this is so terrifying for TRADCONS, because they used to be like entirely comprised of delta males. And now everybody's an influencer. Now Nala Ray can go speak at Turning Point USA and flash her tits and praise Jesus, you know. But the delta males aren't there. They don't care about that shit anymore. The delta males are pissed off and they're frustrated. You know why? Because average females don't want to get with average delta males. The delta males who learn a trade, the guys who are the welders, the guys who are the electricians, the guys who have a certification and not a diploma, and the plumbers, the garbage men, right? Guys who are out there keeping the fucking lights on, who are keeping the roads going, who are keeping the fucking gasoline truck. They're long haul truckers. They're longshoremen. Those guys who are out there doing, they are average dudes. Those average dudes cannot find chicks. They cannot find wives. They cannot reproduce and make other little delta males anymore. They can't do that anymore. You lose delta males in Western society, you lose the fucking society. And that's what they are terrified of. And that's exactly what even the leftists are seeing right now. That's what the Richard Reeves guys are seeing right now. That's what's scaring them. They're scared that the delta males might actually like say, you know what, fuck this shit. They don't want delta males to revolt. It's not a beta male revolution. It's a delta male, like just fucking indifference. And when you lose those guys, they don't have any reason to go to work anymore. They don't have any reason to keep the lights on anymore because they can't be assured of a wife that's going to fuck them and little babies that are going to come out of that wife. They don't have that reassurance anymore. And that is as a result of the sexual revolution, hormonal birth control, and all of the social changes that have taken place as a result of intersexual dynamics since about 1965. Lose the deltas, you lose society. Simple as that. And that's what terrifies these guys. That's what keeps these people up at fucking night.
And yet that has not been the message that you have been receiving from pundits, from Hollywood, from girls on college campuses, whatever it may be, from podcasters. That is not what you have been hearing. And interestingly, a recent British study revealed that nearly 50% of young men reported feeling that being a man is not
a British study. Home of the adolescence mockumentary docutainment series.
Not a source of pride for them, which is just insane. That is the core part of your being. That should be something that you love about yourself, that is so integral to who you are, that you should be proud of. And the fact that 50% of young men say that that's not even a thing anymore. And this is what some of the participants had to say. Quote,
because they have been taught to loathe their gender. That's why. To be a man is to be less than human. What was I saying before?
There are a lot of negative stories about how men have treated women, which makes people assume that all men are the same, which isn't the case, commented one 20-year-old. Another young man said, there is a feeling that men are responsible for patriarchy and you feel a sense of guilt. Although things were this way before I was born and in spite of personal effort for equality, these men are trying. They have heard, they've tried to respond, and yet they still are made to feel so guilty and so out of place. Another one said, social media.
He's trying to strive for an equality that doesn't fucking exist because the ideology of gynocentrism has put that burden upon him. Equality would exist. Feminism would be perfected if men would just fucking cooperate.
It is damaging to men's mental health as a society. We have an expectation of what a man should be. This puts pressure on men to live up to this expectation. So in trying to...
Okay, did you catch that? That expectation? Society expects men to be X, Y, and Z. Social constructionism once again. Now, this is from a sort of a pro-female gynocentric perspective, okay? It's not, we haven't quite crossed the Rubicon into TRADCON shit right now. But where we're at right here with this is exactly losing the delta males. We lose the deltas, you lose society. If that guy is confused, if that guy is gender loathing, that young man, that young soon-to-be delta male man is gender loathing, what motivation does he have? What's his incentive? You can't get pussy. You can't get a wife. What is it? You have to work 5 times as hard as your grandfather did to get a woman who's 20 times worse than your grandmother, right? That's the, it's probably not, I'm probably fucking that up, but that's the mentality.
Next this with current events, it's yeah, no wonder young men moved to the right. No wonder in 2024, young men came out in droves for Donald Trump and JD Vance, who, they might not be perfect men, but they are men who seem to be proud of being men. They are manlier men who have families and seem like the heads of their households. Young men can look up to them and maybe even see themselves in those two men. It's the reason why UFC has absolutely blown up. It's the reason why the male podcasting space is dominating right now, because they are speaking to multiple generations of men who've been ignored for years right now.
Who? There's my first one. Who are we talking about? Who's dominating the male spaces right now? Brett, who? Sure shit, not me, man, because I don't get anything like the numbers some other people that I could name that you probably can't, and probably your writers can't either. So who the fuck are you talking about? Who? Wait, here. See, this is the thing, is it's always long on rhetoric, short on specifics, right? Okay.
Millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha that is coming up. That is why the male podcasting space is dominating. We'll dive back in, but first, a quick word from our sponsor.
The male podcasting space is dominating. Dominating what? Shit. YouTube just came out and said that they were complicit, or they deliberately demonetized and fucking deleted channels that they had ideological, political, social differences with. Oh, we promise we'll never do that again. Bullshit. But at least they're saying the silent parts out loud now. There we go.
Partner with Ground News to give you full access to not the role models that these young men are craving after decades of being told that they are less than, that they should be ashamed and feel guilty for their natural feelings, their natural inclinations as biological men. And unfortunately, when a whole society, when a whole political party turns against and villainizes one sex, you are not just going to move to healthy role models and find some common middle ground. It's not going to work like that. You are going to see the consequences of young men who fell through the cracks, who were left behind, who were
See, now you're going to have to see. I would love, he'll never watch this, but I would love to see Dr. Richard Reeves see that one, just that quick 10-second clip right there. Right? They're not just going to naturally do this, but that's exactly what Richard Reeves expects will happen as a result of having these conversations, raising awareness. Rich, we've been raising awareness. Well, in my case, we've been raising awareness since 2004? Yeah, okay. It's time to fucking do something about things, Rich. But the very fact that we're talking about this is the very fact that she's explaining this in the terms that men are are feeling superfluous, right? Or they're told that they are demonizing, right? That's part of the zero sum game that I keep trying to explain to a guy like Richie.
Villainized to no end, who are made to feel guilty, they are going to have to go somewhere. And often they're going to lash out, which leads us to the creation of the red pill man, which is a...
Okay. Now, dear, can we talk? Dear, okay. This did not create the red pill. This situation, you've been alive for half an hour, okay? Like, you're a little, like, was it Jeremy Clarkson on the Clarkson's Farm? You're a little fetus right now. When it comes to the red pill, you're a fetus, okay? You're this little bag of, collection of, you're a multi-celled organism is what you are. You're a fetus. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You have no history with any of this shit. She's what, 22, 21? She is younger than my daughter. So I think she's like
24.
24? Is that what she said? She's actually be older than I thought she was. So she was born in 2001. I think I probably started talking about this stuff with that 2001. You were in diapers when I started writing about this stuff, when I started talking about this stuff. The red pill has been around since you couldn't even walk. You still had your baby teeth. You didn't even have teeth when this started jumping off. The red pill, it was not created as a response to this. It's been going on for quite some time now. Let me explain to you. There was the pickup artist seduction community. Then there was the blog years. Then there was kind of like the social media years. Then there was the YouTube years. Oh, and then Andrew Tate became Andrew Tate in 2022. And here we are. You were born a half an hour ago. You don't know what you're talking about, and neither do the people who are writing this script for you, okay?
hot topic in 2025. Whenever anybody brings up the red pill bros, if you talk about them, if you tweet at them, I feel like they're going to end up in this comment section. They're going to like pop out to like talk about their values, whatever. But
they're not talking about their values. They are sending you stats and data and research, and you can't tell people data without telling them how to feel about it, okay? You know why? Because of exactly what you just said. They come out with their values. They're not coming out with values. They're coming out with information. What do you have to say about the data? Nothing. That's why you put it into emotional terms.
Red Pill Man is playing his own role in this very, very complicated and convoluted dating landscape. And
Who is the Red Pill Man? Do you have names? Please, can you tell us any names whatsoever?
Men, in my opinion, view modern feminism as a societal evil whose express goal is to oppress men. They believe that women hold unfair.
It is a societal evil. Can we explain that? But that's not where it's at. I'll let you continue.
Power in today's culture, which is definitely true in our modern culture. And I agree with them on feminism. I agree that modern feminism has gone too far. It's shifted from being about equality and uplifting women to actually dominating men.
Okay, here we go. No, it's not. Feminism has never been about equality. End of story. Put a period in it. Stick a fork in it. You're done. Get out of here, fetus. It has never, ever been about equality. And it's, you notice how she says modern feminism. Modern feminism is terrible. Well, how about postmodern feminism? How about pre-modern feminism? How about the suffragettes? Were they good? See, when I talk about feminism, I've done full-on episodes about feminism. If you'd like me to do those ones again, I'll be happy to. No one will watch it, but I'll be happy to fucking do those shows because I don't care. When I go back in history, I don't have that sound effect. I usually peg feminism as we know it today from the point of the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, 1849, somewhere around there. Close to 1850. So I know it's 1848 or 49. Okay. Seneca Falls was where the suffragette movement really sort of started taking root, and they had their articles of grievances, and they were essentially trying to get votes for women, and they were opposed mostly by other women. Imagine that. And nobody really even took them seriously. Now remember that, let's just round it off and say it was 18. I know it was 1848, but let's just say it's 1850. Okay. 1850. to 1920, which is when we ratified the 19th Amendment, like idiots, there's 70 years. That is 70 fucking years of the suffragette feminist movement. And not just in the United States, in the UK as well. Okay. Have you ever played Red Dead Redemption?
Yes.
And you know the one who's like votes for women, and you can like shoot the. There's a reason why that NPC is in that, because historically that was accurate. That was in the Wild West, like it was before the fucking Civil War. That's how old the fucking movement is. And you know what? It was the same movement then as it is in 2025. It's a supremacism movement. It was not about equality. If it had been about equality, it would have been like, oh, we got the right to vote. We're done. That's it. No, it's not. The first wave feminists, the suffragettes, weren't any better than modern feminists or third wave or militant feminists. Or does anybody even know what a second wave feminist is? I don't. I only know first and third, because third wave feminism was supposed, and this is if you have taken your women's studies classes as a humanities choice in your fucking like basic general studies at any major university right now. If you take those classes, you will know, like, everybody talks about the first and the third, but they don't even know what the fuck the second wave feminisms were. But that's the thing is there are no waves of feminism. It has always been the same fucking movement since 1840 at Seneca Falls all the way up to where we are now. The only difference is it was interrupted by the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Bolshevik Revolution, and then of course what happens in 1965, the greatest invention that feminists could have ever imagined occurred. Men came up with hormonal birth control for one sex, not for men. Here's a pill for men and for women. No, it was just for fucking women. And what it did for the first time in the history of humanity, in the history of 200,000 years of human evolution, we put the power of reproduction into the hands of one sex. It was no longer a collaborative effort. It was no longer protection and parental investment and sexual access. It was just women deciding. It was the greatest eugenics program in the history of humankind, in the history of humanity. Women get to decide who lives and who dies. And you know what came right after that? On-demand abortion, right? And of course, no-fault divorce. And what came after that? Child support, alimony, all the great shit that we talk about, that Jim Sexton has just recently talked about in a really great video he just did, mentioned us personally. All the stuff that Jim Sexton would not exist had it not been for the pill. The divorce industry, the marriage industry, that whole industrial complex that goes along with that, all that shit would not exist if not for one, or at least in modern terms, it would not exist except for one fucking invention, and that is hormonal birth control. And don't come up to me and say it was the Jews, and don't come up and say it's the Rockefellers, because I'll tell you right now, if human beings weren't human beings, this wouldn't be a thing. If human beings like to do one thing really as much as they possibly can. Fuck. That's what they like to do. You want to know why pornography, you don't want to know why porn is ubiquitous and free 4K streaming. There's a reason why porn is free. Because guys want to fuck. Any technology that exploits the human sexual condition will always be a raving success. Virtual reality, fleshlights, that technology, if it can serve a sexual purpose, will always be a hit, and it will advance other technologies as well. Same thing. You want to know why Twitter is still around and Tumblr is a fucking mess? Pornography. Twitter still allows hardcore porn. Tumblr did not. Bye, Tumblr. We can go. We're gonna jerk off to Twitter or whatever, to Pornhub or X or whatever, right? Same shit. But long story short, feminism is not an equality movement, dear, no matter. See, this is another thing I want to also point out is, like, she probably doesn't even realize this, but when guys such as myself or Andrew Wilson, or I can think of it, Rhinestone, other people who've mentioned this before, is that modern conservative trad femmes today don't even realize that they are feminists. And boy, Jedediah Bila got pissed off at me one time when I said that. I said, what is it? Conservative women are just better looking feminists. What are you saying? How dare you? No, it's true because they just don't know it. She doesn't know she's a feminist, modern feminism, or her writers don't know that she is, because that's how you get those little that kind of nuance, like feminist this, feminist that. Like she doesn't even realize that she's still like I've said this before. Like I love it when trads try to tell me that and she'll do the same thing, that the red pill is just a reaction to feminism. The red pill is just feminism for men. The red pill is just the flip side of feminism. No, it's not. It's been around way longer than you guys have even been alive. That's number 2. And number 3 is that it's actually TRADCONS and traditional conservatism that is the actual flip side of feminism. It serves it's the same coin, right? It serves the same purpose. Feminism is about the empowerment of women. Traditional conservatism is about making men and forcing men into being responsible for the empowerment of women. That's all it is. It's just feminism with a Bible. It's feminism with TPUSA. That was my biggest thing, by the way. And again, I mean, not to speak ill of Charlie Kirk, because I would probably have agreed with like 90% of what he was talking about. But when it came to intersexual dynamics, Charlie was out in the fucking woods, man. He just simply like the thing that gets me is like you get guys like Charlie, or especially her too, because like she married pretty early as well. They don't understand, and when she finishes off her little monologue here, you'll get it. They are so out of touch. Like I've been married longer than any of them, and I'm still got my finger on the pulse of the sexual marketplace. I still understand what's going on out in modern society. Like how come I can do this? You don't want to talk to me. Again, because this is your narrative. You talk to me, the narrative dissolves, right? But the thing is that like I would agree with pretty much everything. Like I'm sure we probably agree on politics. I'm sure we probably agree on religion. I'm sure we probably agree on a lot of other things, right? Just personally. That doesn't mean I'm not going to punch both ways. I will. But when I listen to Charlie Kirk talking about like, oh, you can't play any video games until you don't get a PS5 until you make your wife a woman of leisure. Until everything she needs, she's complete. All of her earthly wants and needs are provided for. Oh, and you got kids; they got to be provided for too. Then, once all that's taken care of, then you can play Call of Duty, right? League of Legends, from World of Warcraft, Space Marine 2, which, by the way, the new update is fucking spot on, dude. That is the best game on planet fucking Earth, man. And if you haven't played, you should be playing it. But no, I mean just that mentality, and it's the same thing. Like she's cut from the same cloth.
They vocalize that. They do not hide that. That is something that they are proud of. They speak about. So these men are not wrong when it comes to any of those things, but they don't just.
Who is they? Who is they, Muppet? Who is they?
Stop with fighting that. They don't just stop by saying, hey, this is wrong, we disagree with that. Instead, they in turn idolize these hyper-dominant, quote-unquote, alpha traits. They have a perverted view of masculinity and femininity and a woman's role in society. They also
What would those traits be? Can we get into that topic? What are those traits? Tell me what those traits are.
Very often lump women together and see us all as being inherently manipulative, interested only in exploiting men for their resources and their money and their status, and possibly the thing that turns me off the most.
Who is saying this? It's not on this podcast. It's not. This is the #1 red pill podcast on planet fucking Earth, and I do not feel bad about saying that. Go fuck yourself. No one has been doing it as long as I have. Seriously, Fresh and Fit don't have the same fucking history as I do. I was interviewing Andrew Tate in 2017 when I was still part of the 21 convention. I outdate those guys. I've been doing this podcast really since the latter part of 2017 into 2018. No one has the history of the red pill like the rational male. No one. Period. End of story. Find someone else who does. Find anyone who has a podcast that has been around, a red pill podcast that has the same longevity as this fucking podcast. And don't say Rich Cooper, because Rich Cooper was about entrepreneurs and cars. He came up maybe around the same time, right? Find someone. And I know you're not talking about Rich because you probably don't even know Rich Cooper's fucking name, right? Not Andrew Tate, not Myron, who I have great respect for, Myron Freshy, not those guys. Who are you fucking talking about? This is the #1 Red Pill podcast. Who are you talking about? You don't even know my fucking name. Where is it?
Say my name.
There you go, right? Who are you talking about?
Is that they often assert that their manhood is something that is defined by how many women they can exploit, how many women they can sleep with, how many women they can impregnate, how far they can sow their seeds, and how many children they can have.
Who is saying that? Even Andrew Tate is not saying that, you know? Andrew Tate would say, yeah, you could have 4 wives, right? Well, he believes in like having like one guy and many. He's just like any Muslim would probably agree with the same thing that Andrew Tate is saying, right? Even Andrew is not saying shit like that. Who are you talking about? Who in the red pill? What red pill influencer? Joe Rogan? No, he's not even a red pill guy, but those are the guys I've heard that people want to refer. Like CBS use Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan. Who else was on? Like, not Aiden. The other guy. What was his name? Anyways, they use a bunch of podcasters who they say are red pill podcasters. Joe Rogan would it would be a cold day in hell before he would call me. This is Joe Rogan pulling it over the fucking gate. That's what Joe Rogan does. Jordan Peterson, get the fuck out of here. Jordan Peterson cries on demand. Are you kidding? Like, who are you? And even Jordan, none of those guys would say anything like that. Who are you talking about?
How tight and ill-fitting their suits can be, how nice their cars are, like how many cigars they can smoke. It is a caricature of masculinity. It is bitter, and in my opinion, it is incredibly performative. And while
Who is doing this? She can name one person besides Andrew Tate with a cigar in their fucking mouth. Please tell me who you're fucking talking about. Who?
I know that I just spent 2 minutes basically complaining about them and saying what I think is wrong with their ideology. Their core grievances, like the reason why the Red Pill Bro was created in the first place, like their core grievances are often very legitimate. Like,
okay, let me explain something to you, Muppet. Okay, the Red Pill is not about core grievances. That was the suffragettes. That was Seneca Falls in 1848. They had a list of grievances, actually. We don't have grievances. The red pill is only about information. The red pill is only about educating and informing. That's what it's about. Whoever takes that and says, this is what we ought to do with this information, that's their best practice. That's their ideology. The red pill itself is not an ideology. I don't know how many fucking ways I have to say the same goddamn thing over and over and over again. The red pill is a praxeology. It is not an ideology. But you don't know that because you can't name one single red pill influencer, creator, whatever, but you're going to tell us exactly what you think they're all about. They were created to air their core grievances, which I don't have a problem with. No, you do, because you just called them caricatures of masculinity. So what the fuck is it? See, that's the problem. Is like you think, again, you're a fetus. You were born half an hour ago. You don't know what you're talking about, but you're confident in your own ignorance, dear. Seriously. But you don't want to have those conversations. You don't want to have the conversation that you don't want to have me on. You don't want to have Andrew Wilson on. You sure as shit don't want to have Myron on. You don't want to talk to any of these people to find out what the fuck they're talking about in the first place. You only hear what Andrew Tate has had to say. And by the way, hear what he had to say in 2019, in 2020, in 2021, maybe. In 2022, when he was like at the peak of his Tate-ness. Now, not so much. What is he? Can you name a single red? Because you want to say red pill bros, that's plural. There's more than one. Who? Do you even know? No, you don't. Do you? Writers for the Muppet, do you even know? No, you don't fucking know. So how are you talking about this with any kind of authority whatsoever?
liberal women and progressives, you created a space for the red pill man to thrive. You pushed men for years, for decades, so far into a corner that they had no choice but to turn to people like Andrew Tate to create these ideologies.
That's the only fucking name she knows. Only knows Andrew Tate. I'm sorry, I'm going to do bird hands because I feel like I should.
So that they could feel powerful, so that they could have somebody who would say, hey, it's pretty great to be a man, even if that version of a man is kind of performative and a caricature, in my opinion. And I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's a caricature and it's performative. Well, what wouldn't be performative? Being a good husband and being a stay-at-home dad and going out on grocery runs and get the milk, right? Is that, but you're taking responsibility. Right? Is that what you're doing?
Sorry, but the result of all of that, what this has become, is a major turnoff for women. Even women who might share your values or politically agree with you. Because like you didn't want to date a feminist woman who hated you for your manhood and just hated your basic identity and wanted to take advantage of you through sex, women also are not going to want to date men who are assholes and hate them for just being women. And I really think...
Okay, very few. Like I'm going to give you my take. Let's tone it. Let's tonally like regulate, Kyle. We got to tonally regulate, okay? A, the red pill's not an ideology, number one. Number two is this. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Number three is this. Oddly enough, those red pill assholes, those narcissists, those dark triad personalities, they tend to be the guys that even feminists say, I really am turned on by conservative guys. I really want to get with guys who are like, don't share my same politics, right? I don't understand. I know I'm a bad feminist for saying this, but I really get hot when so-and-so like opens, when Justin Waller opens the door for me on the G ride. I just like, I don't know, man. I look down and my panties are wet, right? There's a reason for that. And you know who Justin Waller is. You definitely know who Justin Waller is, Brett. Oddly enough, that's not the case. What do you want them to be? Do you want, like, that's what kills me about this is like, you think, oh, well, there's two, like she's going to get, I'm going to maybe advance it or fast forward it a little bit here, but there's the spectrum, right? There's asshole alpha. Here's the asshole alpha. He's the Andrew Tate. And then on this end, there's the doormat beta. I'm okay, I'll go get the milk. Like there's that spectrum. And so most guys are not over here, and then they're not here. They're somewhere right about the middle, right? But now they're leaning more towards, they're leaning more towards the, I'm sorry for being a man. Okay, they get a little bit over here, more towards the alpha side. Now we're going to be Andrew Tate. Fuck all this. Wes Watson gets up here, little bitch. They're right about here. Just this side of it. And you know what? When the delta males are just this side of it, that's when women get itchy. The delta males might not keep the lights on. The delta males might not keep the garbage truck coming. The buses might not run on fucking time. How come the delta males aren't stepping up and defending women on the subway? Yeah, that's because they're like, what's my motivation? What's my incentive for getting shot for you?
That a lot of these men online that we see just generally don't like women. Like I read their posts, I'm like, have you ever like been friends with a woman? Like,
okay, there's the emotional reframe right there. Emotional reframe. Have you ever been I read their posts. No, you don't, because you never respond to the posts. You don't even run your own fucking Twitter, girl. Your fucking handlers do. Every big account does. Chris Williamson, you think he sees my fuck? Even Rob Henderson has me on mute. He don't see my posts. He talks shit about me like he knows what he's talking about, but he doesn't see my posts. But that doesn't stop a guy like Rob Henderson from talking shit about the red pill and and spreading this idea that he knows what the fuck he's talking about. That's why I have a problem with this. Because if I talk about this, I amplify your signal. which maybe I'm being stupid by doing so. I agree. You're right. Why do you keep talking about these girls? Myron did a whole fucking piece on this way before I did. Nobody's giving him shit. They're like, oh yeah, get her. Right? Fucking Pearl has like, God, at least a dozen clips and from one like 2-hour show she did on all of this. Did you bother to put like the same comments on her shit? No, you didn't. But the thing is that's part of the narrative. Remember what I was saying? How the narrative only survives if you don't A, cite sources, B, say who you're talking about, C, pretend like you know what you're talking about, even though you don't. In fact, that actually boosts the narrative that much more. Because if you don't really know what you're talking about and everybody else does, that's going to be the fucking fuel to the fire. So Rolo will go and talk about you, and Myron will go and talk about you, and Pearl will go and talk about you. Right? That's how the narrative goes. You never respond to them. You never go, oh, well, looks like Rolo wants to have a really in-depth, tonal conversation about this. It doesn't look like, it looks like, maybe I should educate myself. Maybe I should really talk to this guy and find out what the red pill's really all about. No, they don't. You know why? Because that video doesn't get the same views and get the same kind of narrative amplification that this bullshit video does. And that's why whenever it's a slow fucking week at the Daily Wire or Brett Cooper, whatever she's doing right now, when it's a slow fucking news week, they just drop another red pill video and hey, they'll boost it. They know we're stupid. We'll do it. And you know why I'll do it? Because you guys want it. You guys saw today's thumbnail and you go, all right. Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, man. Oops, wait a minute. I fucked up. Hang on there. In fact, I wanted to get past this anyways.
Environments are designed to help you achieve from the get-go. And in talking about this, my mind immediately goes to Alex Cooper and her podcast, Call Her Daddy. But before we keep going, I want to thank today's sponsor. Now,
let me pass the sponsorship shit here because this is garbage. Yes, great Christian college. Okay. Man, the people, you guys,
you to learn more today.
You guys don't understand like how many fucking endorsements I turned down for this show. You don't have no idea. Like I have like Lightning VPN wanted me to. I still might do Lightning VPN. I don't want to be the guy selling you pheromone soap. I refuse. I had the opportunity. I said, I don't think my audience would be cool with that. Right. Like tomorrow morning, it'll be Monday. I will get a minimum of 3, possibly 4. Their gang emails that they'll say, hey, we really love, hey, Rational Male Clips. Like that's my name. Hey, Rational Male Clips, love what you're doing with your content. Big fans. We wondered if you wouldn't be interested in doing an affiliate marketing thing with Mary Kay Cosmetics. No, really, I'm good. Thank you. I leave a lot of money on the table for you motherfuckers.
Now, back to Alex Cooper. She and her original co-host would often tell women that they needed to have a roster of men lining up waiting for them to date, that they should, quote unquote, have sex like a man, that they should toy and play games with men as a way of gaining power and confidence. Like, this is literally how they named their podcast, Call Her Daddy.
Okay. What she's going to say right now is really, she's trying to build a case. She's trying to say that the red pill, remember, this is all about us. It's not about Call Her Daddy or anything else. It's setting up a case to say that the red pill is just a response to Call Her Daddy.
Take a listen.
For people that don't know what Call Her Daddy means, the word daddy is what? It's like you're a boss, you're a badass, you're powerful, dominant.
In the bedroom specifically.
Yeah, and you are in control of your life and in control in the bedroom.
Yeah. So the entire premise,
Okay, stop right there. We got to, okay, remember what I told you to bookmark, right, children? What did I tell you to bookmark? Bookmark Dave Portnoy, right? Okay. Dave Portnoy, owner, still owner? Did he sell? No, still owner. Well, I do know he was owner when they started the show. That's good enough. Okay. So Call Her Daddy used to have 2 co-hosts. There used to be 2 girls on that show. And now there's only the one girl, right? Does he still own Barstool? People gave him so much shit for it.
Yeah, he
like,
does.
Okay, so he still is. Okay, so I'm right about that. See, we check facts here on the Rational Mail. We actually go and look them up for you live in real time instead of trying to convince you we know what the fuck we're talking about. So Dave Portnoy, not to be confused with Mike Portnoy. Sorry. Okay, totally different Portnoy. Remember what he just said recently? What was it? He was being interviewed and he was talking about how he was still paying his ex-wife.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah, I wish I still had that video because I actually showed that video not too long ago. He was on another podcast. I forget who it was. It wasn't 20. It wasn't No Jumper. It was something. Maybe it was No Jumper.
Maybe.
Was it Adam 22 that was hitting him up? Anyways, long story short, so he was talking about how he was, he's like, yeah, no, I pay her bills, blah, blah, blah. I still very much in love with her, blah, 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 even though she's gone and everything else. And I'm like, I don't like, now that you hear what the premises are from Alex Cooper, about like what the premise of Call Her Daddy was supposed to be. And you put that into the context of the guy who actually owns the show. No one's calling him daddy. Okay. I wanted to point that was the joke. Yeah. I wanted to point that out. Nobody's calling him that. So he's got more money than God. Let me just state for the record, Your Honor, that Dave Portnoy is a very rich man. Got it. Understood. To the point where he can still pay his ex-wife alimony, even though she doesn't need the alimony. But he's probably, remember, he's the guy, he's the power behind the throne. Not her, not Call Her Daddy guy. That Call Her Daddy doesn't exist without Dave Portnoy's money underneath it. Okay, it might be. I don't know what their analytics are. They're probably making a good chunk. I got to go look them up on vidIQ. They're probably still making. It's still probably a very profitable a podcast, which of course is why he's going to keep it going. But remember, it's him who's the foundation of that. Something that you're not going to hear from Brett Cooper.
Entire idea behind this huge culture-changing podcast was the idea that women should dominate in life and dominate in the bedroom at the expense of men. That men, to them, were actually disposable. And this is something she has said.
Paid for, funded, bankrolled by Dave Portnoy.
This is how we solve all of your problems. He didn't text me back. You have a full roster, okay? You line them up. He ditches you, you grab the next and the next and the next.
So basically what she's saying there is her rationale for having a roster of men and just dating around, because if one pisses you off, well, just go find another one. You need to have a bunch lined up that you can sleep with, that you can date, because if a man pisses you off, don't deal with it, don't handle it, whatever, just move on and date somebody else, because you should not have to be beholden to this awful man who is giving you the ick or doing something wrong, because they are just disposable.
Okay, Brett, I don't know if you know this, but you don't have to use Alex Cooper as an example of this. All you have to do is go to any of these guy on the street videos, and you'll see it live in real time right here down on the streets in Vegas. At the Fremont Experience down there with what's his name? It's Complicated guy John does this quite a bit. You don't need her. She's not the problem. It's the billions of girls that are on the street out there who have exactly the same fucking mentality as this chick. She's just she's just bankrolled by Dave Portnoy. She's the song. Good analogy. She is the song.
Her ideology was based on the fact that men are pigs, so women should be pigs back towards them. Like, we should get back at them. And now, years later, this podcast has been around for over 5-6 years now. Finally, now that she's older, maybe a bit more mature, she is married, she's talking about having kids, she is finally comfortable saying the quiet part out loud, that yes, in fact, she wanted to punish them. This is a recent clip from her interview on the Armchair Expert podcast. Take a listen.
Did you want to punish them?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I think because I have never had a hard time making female friends. That was like.
You ever notice the chick that's there is backing her up? Yeah. She was the one who's like, yeah.
Goading her.
I don't care about her, the white girl, the little brown skin girl that's there going, yeah, that's the girl you need to reach, Brett. Not the songbird. The girl that's going, yeah.
The thing that filled me up the most, I always felt so comfortable around women
being on soccer teams, filming with my best friends. Like I love it. Like I love female friendships. And then when I finally got to a point where I changed my hair and changed my skin and all of the things, when boys were drooling over me and I was just like, oh, I hate you.
I mean, at least she's honest. That is sort of a good thing, but
I remember she doesn't have that podcast if not for a dude, if not for a very wealthy guy who pushed that thing up to where it is right now. So yeah, I understand. I 100% agree about the ideology, whatever the fuck you're going to fucking pipe on about right now. The thing is, she doesn't exist without a chump like Dave Portnoy. Okay.
everything that she is saying, everything that she has blabbered about for the last 6 years on her podcast, it is awful. It is unkind. And also it is self-harming behavior. It is not just unhealthy for men. It impacts them negatively. It's impacting the women negatively who choose to act like this. But she and others like her, especially in Hollywood, they influenced an entire generation of women with these kinds of values, with the
It's not just her and the girls in Hollywood. It's the girls down on Fremont. It's the girls in all of those little short 45-second buzz clips that you see on TikTok and reels on Instagram and occasionally on Twitter as well. It's the girl on the street. She's for the streets. So the girl that's on the street that you need to be concerned with. Hollywood, I expect that. Songbird, dumb bitch from Call Her Daddy, I expect that. You know what's going to happen? Take her away. Take away all the Hollywood, crazies. The bitches on Fremont are still saying the same fucking thing that they would be saying. Okay, that's who you need to reach. Girlfriend.
ideas that we need to be terrible to men as a way of punishing them, that our empowerment comes from sleeping around and screwing with men and playing games with them because that is what they deserve. That.
Okay, where does your empowerment come from? Interesting choice of words from a traditional conservative.
Is where this divide started. So taking all of that into consideration, the years of that, it is no wonder that now men are responding by basically doing the same thing to women.
Okay, it's not a response. We've been doing with the red pill has been around since 2004. This is not a contingency. This is not a, yeah, we need to get back at those girls. Yeah. There's your clip. It's not about that. It's not a big get even. It's not come up and, although I know there's a billion black pill doomers, despondent nihilistic guys. I understand that. I understand there's incels. I understand those guys are practices. That is not the red pill. That is a practice. That is what guys took the red pill and they say, you know what? Here's the best thing we should do. We should get those girls. We should walk away. We should create stupid stoic videos on YouTube with Zeus statues walking away from dumb bitches. That's practice. That's not the red pill. Go take that up with those idiots. And by the way, they are a fraction of a percentage point of the people who are actually understand this stuff, right? Every day. Remember, I was just talking to you guys about like how I have offers from endorsements and people like who want to fund the show and they're completely unrelated to the show. As often as I have those, I have more often get guys in my emails, in my DMs, particularly with Instagram. Please come in. Thank you very much. I'm humbled by how many guys DM me and they will say, Rolo, my life is way better because of this. I actually took the noose off my neck. My kids have a father as a result of this. I love your book. Your book saved my life. It changed my life. Like, dear, I am the godfather of the red pill. I'm the guy that fucking wrote the Rational Male. I wrote the Bible of the fucking red pill, the Bible of the manosphere. Until you're willing to have that conversation, you don't know what just shut the fuck up. And we would say that heartfelt to your writers as well. Okay. I know, God, I hate this. I hate sounding like fucking conceited and everything, but this is the only way to get through to you dumbasses. It really is. Like you want to have this conversation. You want to have you if you're really about it, you would have that conversation. You're not. You're about the narrative. It's just all fucking.
Men were villainized by these women for just doing normal man things. Women blew their behaviors out of proportion, called them toxic and manipulative, said that the patriarchy was this awful thing. And now it seems like a whole group of scorned men, understandably scorned, who have been hurt and shamed for years, has.
You know what I hate? I hate that we use the term patriarchy so much these days. Like, the patriarchy is dead. It's been dead since the sexual revolution. It died probably somewhere in the mid 70s, really, if you think about it, because guys abandoned it. They were told that they would get more pussy if they did. Stop trying to, we didn't call it like alpha male, they call it macho, right? Stop being so macho. Get in touch with your female side. Why do you have to be so macho all the time? Why do you have to be a guy? Why do you have to be such a guy? You are so, I love that. I've had guys like, or I've been around like friends of mine and their wives, they don't know who I am, right? They don't care. And they'll like, I literally had this conversation one time. I was with a friend of mine and he was doing something, I forget, like working on a car or something like that. And she was like looking at me or whatever. And she goes, "You are such a guy," like that. And I go, "Yeah, and you wouldn't have it any other way." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." But the very fact that she would say, "You're such a guy," like it's some kind of invective. Like, bitch, you would not want it any other way. Would you want that dude to act different? No, that's the guy you married. That's the guy you got hot for. That's the guy you spread your legs for. So shut the fuck up. Right? But, you know, the patriarchy hasn't existed really since hormonal birth control. Well, since the sexual revolution, since post hormonal birth control, because that's when all this emotionalism took root. That's when feels before reals began. Right? You want to know why? Oh, we have the feels before reals, or we have the the participation trophy generation. You know where that's a direct result of feels before reals. It's a direct result of everybody should feel like a winner. Well, everybody should. Well, whenever you say everybody ought to, everybody should, that's egalitarianism. Everybody should have one of these. 1, 2, 3. Here, self-esteem. 1, 2, 3, 4. You get some, and you get some, and you get some, and you get some. Everyone should feel like a winner. Everyone deserves respect. Respect. Oh, and 2 respects for you because you are pregnant. Right? Like, it's redistribution of value. And what happens when you do that? It becomes valueless. That's why when men organize societies, it's hierarchical. There's a value hierarchy. For women, there is no value hierarchy other than attention, right? That's the coin of the realm for girls, right? But it's one for you, one for you. Let's redistribute the wealth. You want to know why wealth redistribution and communism and socialism and communitarianism and collectivism is so appealing to women? Well, first of all, it's baked in. But the reason why that seems like a good idea is because that's how they do society. One for you, one for you. Egalitarianism, one for you, one for you, one for you. And they will do everything in their power to make you think that it's the natural way of human beings. It is not. Egalitarianism is antithetical to humanity. It's antithetical. I love it when I hear this shit. Like, what was it? I was talking about alpha males. The guy, I'm gonna have to fast forward here a little bit to the pastor, the father. He was a Catholic priest, right? She's about to use this guy. In fact, I think I'll just fast forward to it really quickly. But he's about to talk about alpha males and everything else, right? And then the fact, you know what? Let's just go to that one because it's too good.
Enough. And they're going, fine, we'll just be.
Okay, I'm just gonna fast forward it through this shit here because we don't need to get through this. But so later on, she kind of gets into some. It's basically just more bullshit where she doesn't know what she's talking about. But there it is. Okay, this guy right here. Let me back him up here.
Into this whole red pill ideology. That would be the toxically masculine side of things. So just take a listen.
So we keep, okay, let me back it up just a touch here. She keeps going into ideology. It's not ideology, dear.
Which he says is akin to this whole red pill ideology. That would be the toxically masculine side of things. So just take a listen to what he says here.
Our culture offers young boys 2 alternatives, 2 visions of what it is to be a man. And one is, he called him the slacker dude. The slacker dude is what you might call like the weakling. He's the passive person. He's not just kind of a nice guy. He's the person who, not only, couldn't hurt a fly or wouldn't hurt a fly, but he couldn't hurt a fly.
I love it when like Catholic priests try to be hip. He looks like Henry Cavill pastor, right? Father Cavill, Father Cavill, whatever his name. Yeah, he looks like He looks like father bro, dude bro, edgelord, father edgelord.
The opposite vision that our world offers is what Dr. Leonard Sachs calls the brute or the bully. We would say that's the toxic masculine man, right?
Okay, now here is a man of the cloth using secular terms. Okay, so essentially what he's just described as alpha and beta, right? He just talked about, I just said it a minute ago, there's the raging barbarian on one side of that spectrum, and then there's the doormat beta on the other side of that spectrum, right? He's just basically, thanks for reiterating the red pill circa 2007.
The person who just like the tyrant, basically. And so these are the two images that our world gives young men. It says either you can be the weakling or the tyrant. You can either be the slacker dude or you can be the brute, the bully.
And from
okay, no. Society, they would like you to think that those are the only two choices. What did I just say? Those two choices exist on a spectrum. Those are both extremes. So again, when I keep talking about how, especially TRADCONS love binaries. It's either black or it's white. It's either good or it's evil. It's either you're a brute tyrant or you're a doormat pussy, right? Those are your two choices. Okay. I don't think so. I think there's archetypes, right? There's the abusive asshole. There's the incompetent guy, which is the Gen Z guy who can't like change a tire and can't drive a stick. And then there's Homer Simpson, right? There's the guy who is the doofy dumb dad who needs Marge, needs mom to save him from himself. Those are like the three archetypes that women get to choose from, right? But he's saying that the red pill is just those choice of those two. Okay. Well, Father dude, bro, Father edgelord, let me explain something. I am the godfather of the manosphere. Let me explain something. I'm going to own this shit, man. I'm the godfather of the manosphere, and I'm going to tell you a thing or two, okay? No, they exist on a spectrum, okay? Most guys, what dude, bro, would probably like is for them to exist a little more towards the nice guy side, but not so much that he's a doormat pussy, but he's right here. And he'll still do what he's told. He still has enough conscientiousness that he'll still do what he's told. It can't be all the way over here. We can't do that. Because if he is, then he's an edgelord. He's a brute. He's a barbarian. He's like Rollo the Viking over here. Okay. We don't want him to be an asshole or a jerk or whatever, because those guys they'll ruin society. We can't have too many of them. No. Fortunately for you, they are very, very rare and far between. Now, guys who might be a little bit back on that scale, if you're in the middle here, and you go towards asshole alpha, or that was where was that? That was okay. So my left is I'm looking at myself on the screen. The left is the pussy. The right is Superman, right? He's the barbarian, right? So what happens is the guy on the left is right about where you want the guy to be. Okay, you want him to just be just pussy enough that he'll do what he's told, that he believes he has responsibility, that he won't ask for authority, because the guy on this end, he's got fucking a ton of authority. He's got so much authority. He's so much authority. He's a tyrant. In fact, that's really the definition of tyranny. It is 100% of authority with 0% responsibility or accountability or liability, whatever. Okay. It's 100% authority, 0% responsibility. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have what? We have what the most men are today, right? That pussy, that male feminist, that guy who is is 100% responsibility and 0% authority. That's the problem. That's the problem that brother edgelord, father edgelord doesn't understand, and anybody on Brett Cooper's team doesn't understand. They don't understand the difference, or the balance, or the correlation, let's just say, of responsibility and authority. Responsibility without authority is what? Say it with me, children. Slavery. So what is the reverse of that? Okay, the converse, whatever. That is 100% authority with 0% responsibility. That's called tyranny. That's actually what's called being an average female today. Okay. What is the number one issue that those red pill guys who you'll never name, what is the number one issue that those guys bring up over and over? It's the purpose, it's the mission statement of their fucking Kevin Samuels, Myron Gaze, No Fugazi, even whatever podcast. Of course, we don't really hit on it too much on Access Vegas. What is the number one purpose of those podcasts, at least maybe subtextually? Accountability. That's what it is. We got to hold these bitches accountable, right? Well, that's the whole thing. Those Rollo and Mike don't hold those girls accountable. I'm not watching their show, right? That's they want us to. And how do we hold them accountable? Poke them in the eye. Boing. Poke it like the Three Stooges. That's what they want. That's satisfying to them, right? But that's those two ends of the spectrum. 100% authority, 0% responsibility is tyranny. You said it yourself, Father Edgelord, tyranny. 0% authority and 100% responsibility is slavery. So you're looking at the difference between tyranny and slavery, and men are somewhere in between. They're either leaning towards the pussy or they're leaning towards edgelord, right? So where should the guy be on that spectrum? Let's find out.
There he says, you might think that Jesus would want you to be the meek and gentle man rather than being the tyrannical brute, but really it's neither of these options, because what culture is presenting you with, neither of them are good. What God wants you to be, how you are designed to be, is a man who is strong enough to care and serve others. But that first work.
Okay. So now you're preaching. I'm pretty sure the Bible says something about women preaching, but I don't know. I'm not a theologian. I don't have a degree in theology. So.
Requires taking responsibility and ownership over your life. It's taking responsibility for who you are as a man.
There it is. Responsibility. The answer to everything on the TRADCON side of things has been and always will be responsibility. If men would just be more responsible, all this would go away. No. Men need authority. You want men to lead in the family, you have to give them authority. You don't? Fuck you. Hey, why are you losing the Delta males right now? Because they have no authority. Because average women don't want average men. You're not going to convince average women to want to get with average men. I understand that. I told ladies, I am in no way saying you should go fuck guys that you're not attracted to. But look at the reason why you're not attracted to those guys. Look at the reasons why those guys are not eligible bachelors. Why isn't a Delta male, why would it be settling to marry a Delta male? And by Delta male, I mean like the average drone. You're entitled to fucking Drake. You're entitled to fucking Future, right? You're entitled to a yacht party, to get invited to a yacht party on Instagram by some NBA player, some rapper, right? Well, this bitch could do it. Why can't I? I'm hotter than that girl. I don't want to get with that Delta male. He's just an electrician. Fuck him. I'm going to get asked out by Drake any minute now. and they might. Drake. It might actually happen. But again, playing the responsibility card, and they will always, always, always go back to the responsibility.
That's what he says.
A marker of adulthood is I'm now willing to take responsibility for myself. And
there it is. Responsibility. Responsibility without authority is slavery, Father Edgelord.
I say it like this. I'm willing to develop my strength. I'm willing to develop my own competence. I'm taking responsibility for developing my own competence. I'm taking responsibility for developing my own strength.
Good. Good for you. In fact, you know what? I don't even see that as responsibility. I see that as your burden of performance. Do you want to be a badass? Do you want to maximize? Here's the thing is, at the end of your life, you will not be regretting. Sorry. Father Doormat. I saw that. Put that one up. Yeah. So at the end of your life, you will not be wondering. Well, I don't know what it was. What's the quote? The quote is the true definition of hell is at the end of your life, you meet the guy that you could have been if you maximized your potential. It's not about living up to a responsibility. You better live up to the responsibility and the entitlements that I have of a guy. You better be the guy that I want you to be. How about this? How about I have an inherent capacity or inherent potential that I can maximize, that I can build up, that I can create in myself. I can get bigger, stronger, faster. I can be a badass. I can be the Bionic Man. I can fucking make more money. I can be more creative. I can be more physical. Money muscles game. I can maximize all of my stats, my role playing style, my character. I maximize all my stats. I'm going to be a fucking tank in life. Not a magic user. I'm going to be a fucking tank. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be a tank in my life, and this is what I'm going to do. And here it is. And you know what's funny is we were just talking about that one pussy with the broccoli haircut, talking about like, oh, those guys who are maximizing their potential. Those guys who are maximizing their potential, they're suffering from unhealed wounds. Where's your commentary on broccoli pusswhack guy? Where is your commentary on him? Brett fucking Cooper and your people? It's not women. It's that guy who's basically the mouthpiece for feminism. That's the guy who's saying, well, you know, guys who want to be the best that they can be, that Father Edgelord here is telling us we ought to, that's our responsibility to be. It's not about responsibility. It's about your responsibility to yourself. It's not about being better for women. It's not about being better for the church. It's not about being better for whatever. It's about you maximizing your potential so that at the end of your life, the guy you meet at the end of your life, you are that motherfucker. You are the guy who maximized your potential. You're better than the guy who walks in the door with the maximized potential. Oh, you did better. Okay, I'm not needed here. Maximizing your potential, being the best that you can possibly be. And you know who's trying to convince you not to do that? It's pussy fucking broccoli hair guy. That's the guy that you need to worry about, not fucking Alex Cooper from fucking Call Her Daddy. That's who you have to worry about. Guys, what is it? The enemy is behind the gates. The enemy is here. He's not out there. He's right here in the back. He's put about, it's not the knife in the chest. You see that coming. It's the knife in the back that you don't see coming.
Becoming a man. But there's another level. There's another level of adulthood, another level that's just incredible. It takes responsibility for others. And that's the difference between becoming a man, I take responsibility for myself, and becoming a father, becoming a shepherd. I'm willing to take responsibility for someone else.
And
that's what that entails. That means that if you're going to be a father, if you're going to be a shepherd, you better have some fucking sheep that give you the authority to be their fucking shepherd in the first fucking place. Responsibility without authority is slavery. That's it. Got it? You want me to participate in your ideology? You want me to participate in the game that you think everybody's playing, the rule set that everybody's playing? You want me to play along with that? How about you do a sermon on male authority? How about you go and say, look, authority is not something that is given to you. It is something that has to be seized and taken, because that's the nature of authority. Either you have an inherent God-given birthright to that authority or you don't. So what happens when you're on that spectrum? You know what pushes you either way? It's your take on authority. I have authority. Oh, look, I'm going more towards the barbarian side. I'm going more towards the tyrant side because remember, tyranny without responsibility is, or tyranny, authority without responsibility is tyranny. Responsibility without authority is slavery. And it sounds to me, Father Edgelord, that you're really leaning towards the slavery side of things there. Christianity is a slave's religion, right? So be a servant, be a servant leader. I love that one. I'm a leader. Really, I am. It's like, you know what a servant leader is? The servant leader is the favorite slave on the plantation. That's all. You get to tell the other slaves what to do. What are you trying to improve yourself for? What are you trying to build yourself up for? Are you trying to build yourself? And again, we're going to get back to mental point of origin. We're going to get back to the burden of performance, which are all interrelated. Your frame is dependent on your mental point of origin, which is also dependent on your mindset, which is also dependent on your burden of performance. You don't have a world, your frame, you don't have a world into which other people want to enter. But you don't get to be a shepherd. You don't get to be a father edgelord. You don't get to be a father and hold that frame of being a father or hold that frame of being a shepherd if you haven't done the performance side of it, if you haven't built that up, if you haven't changed your mind about yourself. And you know what happens? You know what's a part of that scares the living bejesus out of Father Edgelord? Is the fact that that guy has to claim responsibility and authority. If he has that responsibility, great. That means shit. It means fuck all. Without the authority to affect all the things that would make up responsibility. Oh my God, it's one of those red pill guys talking about this stuff. It sounds like he's insane. No. We've been talking, shit, this isn't even my fucking material. This is Turd Flinging Monkey's material. He should be up here fucking talking to him. Where are you, fucking TFM? He should be talking about this. He's the one that came up with you know what's funny? In 2015, when Turd Flinging Monkey was coming up with, responsibility and authority, right? Yeah. When he was talking about that, he was he was like confronting Allie Beth Stuckey, who was the debutante of the trad femmes for PragerU back then. And now she's got a little Amish girl's outfit with the fucking collar that comes up to here. And she looks like she's in her pajamas every time she does a podcast now. But yeah, it's not, I will give 100% credit where it's due. That's Turd Flinging. I mean, maybe I've sort of embellished things a little bit for him, but this is old school. This is red pill when fucking Brett Cooper was in fucking middle school. She was in 7th grade when this was coming out, I think. Yeah. The fetus.
And from there, he says, you can then serve and take care of others, which we see in pack animals all the time. And
pack animals.
You guys ready to be a pack animal? Come on, you pack animals, get in there. Get in there and do your duty. God wants you to be a pack animal.
I love that this was the analogy that he used. Take a listen.
In subsequent studies, subsequent research have actually studied primates and wolves and other animals in the wild.
I'm sorry, what?
And the alpha of the pack, the alpha of the group of primates, of gorillas, or of any other kind of, they weren't the ones who just dominated. They weren't the ones who just took whatever they wanted.
Okay. Yeah, they kind of were, because for one alpha to be in the position of being alpha, he had to actually kill the other fucking monkey that was in the troop who was the alpha before him. That's how it fucking works. It's based on violence. It's not based on love and cooperation and egalitarian bullshit. What is it? Knowing's half the battle. What's the other half? Violence. Violence is the other half, right? Yes. And then what got me is when I watched this part. Anybody else get this? Why is Catholic Father Edgelord using monkeys as his, aren't you supposed to be against that? No. Isn't that like against everything? Even is Evo bio and Evo, anything with Evo in front, evolutionary, anything with Evo in front of it, that's just a theory, right? Dinosaurs, what the fuck are those? Yeah. The devil put dinosaurs. The devil put dinosaurs here, man. Yes. I listened to that and I was like, wait a minute. That would be my go-to. I don't know how that became your go-to. So you're saying that human beings are a lot like monkeys. Let's see. Is that what you meant?
It was almost the opposite. The alpha male of the group was the one who took care of the others. The alpha male of the group took care of the others who had his children, who had his offspring. He's ensuring the survival of his genetic line. That's what's going on there, Father Edgelord. Actually, in the wild, the alpha male was the one who served, the one who made sure everyone had food, the one who made sure everyone had protection, the one who made sure everyone had shelter.
No, he's the one who ripped the other monkey limb from limb. And you know what else? Is if he doesn't beat up and tyrannize the other male monkeys, they form coalitions of the beta male monkeys to jump his ass and tear him limb from limb. And you know what happens after that? The most alpha male of the beta male monkeys that ripped the previous alpha limb, literally limb from limb, that monkey becomes the new alpha. That's how it works in the primate world, Father Edgelord. I don't know if you're aware of that. Maybe it's because you're on anything Evo is evil, right? Which is, it is like shocking to me that this is coming from a Catholic priest. It's absolutely shocking. You heard it here first on the Rational Meal.
In fact, I remember a psychologist describing this and saying that women aren't attracted. This is for the guys, like, who are like, I want to be alpha. Why? Because I want to be the one who gets the girls. Women aren't attracted to that dominant personality, aren't attracted to the alpha. What they're attracted to is what he called competent generosity.
And like,
no, they weren't. Okay, so let's review here's another detail that you didn't get from whoever gave you the monkey analogy, okay? Which was probably Sex at Dawn. So whatever psychologist you were talking about pulled this from Sex at Dawn. Sex at Dawn was about bonobos and how they are like inherently egalitarian, hippie, peacenik, which of course was entirely debunked right around 2013, 2014. So, actually, bonobos are one of the most warlike of primates, but they fuck a lot, so they must be hippies, right? They must be it must be free love and sexual revolution monkeys. Now, here's the thing, Father Edgelord. You see, here's what happens: is there is one alpha male monkey that gets to fuck all of. Sorry to use such vulgar terms, but that monkey gets to fuck all of the fertile young female monkeys. That's called a harem. He gets a harem. He fucks all of them. And you know why? Because he has access to three things that make a powerful man. What is that? Territory, resources, and access to, hopefully virgin, but not always, access to multiple women. It's unlimited access to unlimited sexuality. There you go, right? You want to know why guys want to be the guy who gets women want to fuck? It's because powerful men throughout history, and powerful monkeys as well. By the way, I'm pulling this. I will cite you my sources. My source is Dr. Hector Garcia in a book called Alpha God. And what he does is Hector Garcia really, it was one of my sources that I used quite a bit when I was writing my fourth book, which is The Rational Male Religion. And he goes into great detail about the similarities between the evolutionary path of primates and human beings, and how they are similar, and how they track with our religious beliefs. Right. The reason why he named the book Alpha God is because the single monotheistic Jehovah, Yahweh, Ea, whatever, I don't know, Iluvatar, God is male. We always refer to him as he. Thanks for that. We always refer to that male, and then he goes into all the similarities of, in this case, the Abrahamic God, goes into all the similarities of why that God is angry, jealous, it reserves a certain things for himself, that kind of stuff. It just basically goes through this whole thing about how Alpha God is just basically an alpha male that is sort of the embodiment of what we see as sort of the divine male, right? And how the similarities are to not only alpha male men, like human beings, but also primates as well, which is fascinating to me, because here you have Father Edgelord at least acknowledging the fact that that primates are at least somewhat comparable to humans, right? But here's the thing. Here's the part of the puzzle that nobody wants to mention. And I bring this up because I had to school Rob Henderson on this, because Rob Henderson has brought up something very similar. It was, whenever Trump is in office, whenever there's or Putin, they've said the same thing about Putin. Whenever there's a strong dominant male that is sort of imposing his will, or they think is imposing his will on the world, like he's hyper agent, right? What they do is they make the comparison to in primate troops, The alpha male always has to look behind his back, and he has to be generous, and he has to be protective, and he has to be a good leader, because if he's not, then the beta male monkeys will form a coalition, and those beta male monkeys will depose him. They'll rip him apart. They'll tear him apart, right? That's where they leave the story. They don't say anything else about the alpha male. They don't say anything about the troop. They just say it's basically supposed to be this warning message for guys like Trump or guys like Putin. Like, if you don't do what the masses say, what the other beta male monkeys say, then they'll form a coalition and they'll come in your White House and they'll tear you limb from limb, because you're the alpha male and you have responsibility and you have to be a shepherd and all this other bullshit. Okay. That's meant to be a warning to tyrants, right? Tyrants get torn apart by coalitions of beta male monkeys. What they don't tell you is this, is that amongst that, what happens after that? The most dominant alpha monkey of the beta males then takes the place of that former monkey. They don't say he rules better. They don't say he doesn't also turn into a tyrant. They also don't say that. What they also don't say is this, is that when one alpha male monkey deposes or tears apart the rival alpha, he's gone, then the other monkey steps in, and you know what happens? The first thing he does, he kills off the offspring of the previous alpha. It's infanticide. And by the way, primates are not the only species that does this. Lions will do this. Sometimes wolves will do this. It just depends on the actual species. But the first thing silverback gorilla does, the first thing a chimpanzee does, the first thing a bonobo does, the first thing even macaque monkey, little spindly, like, spider monkeys from fucking the Friends movie. Remember the first one? Marcel. Marcel rips the other monkey limb from limb, right? What happens is that rival then kills off all of the offspring, that at least the ones he can tell are his, or the former alpha's offspring, kills them dead. And then what that has the effect of doing is it sends all of the females in the previous harem into estrus. They get hot for it. They like it. Like I can go dig you up 2 studies right now that are in my bookmarks and my Twitter files right now. At least 2 of them. I probably have more, but I got 2 right now that show, like, and this is like Jane Goodall, Diane Fossey, like Gorillas in the Mist kind of thing. That show you that the first thing that happens is the new alpha goes and kills off the offspring of the other one, and that has the effect of sending the previous harem into estrus so they can have more monkeys. And they get hot for the new alpha because the last alpha wasn't hot enough, or couldn't protect, couldn't provide. And he's dead now because new alpha monkey comes in and takes over his spot. That's the ugly truth of it. So tell the whole truth, or don't tell it at all, Father Edgelord. Or maybe you just simply don't know that. Now you do. See, that's my responsibility as the godfather of the red pill. I'm here to give you the information that you might not have, or you might have ignored, or perhaps you just simply overlooked in the process here. That's my job. I have an obligation to objective reality, and that's the objective reality. So it's not just about cooperation and generosity and being a good, faithful servant and everything. It's also about having the authority to rip the former monkey limb from limb. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to violence. It comes down to a capacity for violence. It comes down to a dominant personality. It comes down to resources, territory, and access to fertile young female monkeys that are going to pass on your genetics. It's all about passing on DNA. That's what it boils down to. So don't give me this bullshit about, like, okay, do you want to be generous? Do you want parental investment, right? Okay, so provisioning, protection, and parental investment. That's the beta buck side of hypergamy, right? Hypergamy. Alpha fucks is I rip this motherfucker limb from limb and I fuck your bitches. That's alpha fucks. Beta bucks is, well, now that I've done that, I've got to be protective, provide, and I've got to be interested in my own genetic progeny. That's the ugly monkey fucking truth. What is it? I'm going to use this. So what is it? Hold on. It's what this is. Hold on. Yeah. No, it's what Mike Sartain has said a million times is we are just hairless murder apes. So if you're going, well, I mean, I didn't bring this up. You did. So if we're going to make comparisons to primates, at least let's use the whole enchilada instead of just part of it that we like, that we think goes along with our ideological narrative, instead of the actual reality, which is you got to kill the motherfucker. That's what it comes down to. So, all right, I'm done. Let me get to these. If anybody has questions, now's the time to ask. Okay. Why do we always look for permission rather than just go ahead and take action? Because if we fuck up, we want to make sure that we want to make sure that's not our fault. That's why we should just take action. What is it? Better to beg forgiveness than to beg permission. Right? Better. I did it. If it works out, you're here. What is it? Victory has a million fathers, but defeat is an orphan or is a bastard child. Yep. That's why we have those terms. God, man. See, this is not just about intersexual dynamics. This is about life in general, right? Interesting how you say none of this has anything to do with politics, but according to your buddy Myron, politics has everything to do with this. That's because Myron has decided that politics are going to be the pivot for him right now, and more power to him. I hope he can do a good job with it, but I don't think the red pill is about politics. I don't think, well, see, the thing is this, as I've said before, I don't do a show about politics. I don't do a show about psychology even. I don't do a show about ethnicity or race realism or whatever the fuck, ethno-nationalism, whatever the fuck whatever the topic du jour is today. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about any of that stuff. Although, what are you talking about, Rolo? You were talking about religion just now. Well, if there's a crossover between intersexual dynamics and religion, I might take 3 years of my life and write a fucking book about it. Yes, I reserve the right to go and do that. If I want to write about politics and the confluence of intersexual dynamics and gender dynamics, gender issues, whatever it is, and the confluence of that and society and the social order and how women organize society and how men organize society and how Trump defeated Hillary Clinton. Guess what? He's a man, she's a woman. Game on. I get to talk about that, but I'm not going to come up here and tell you should vote Republican. I've never said that. You should vote Democrat. You should vote Libertarian. God forbid. You should vote whatever, independent. Smoke weed. Smoke weed and leave me alone. Prescription. Oh my God, Rolo. I don't do that. I don't tell you it's the Jews. I don't tell you whatever. I've never said it. You will never see that show come out of me. Myron could go do whatever Myron does. Myron still does the after hour show with the girls. Those are two separate shows. Like, it's like saying, well, Rolo, you do a show called Access Vegas and these girls are ditzes and dinguses and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I also do coming up on 3-hour podcast where I give you like meat and potatoes and stuff like that. And this is where you should be asking questions. Thank you for your super chat. This is where you should be asking questions. This is the pod class. Access Vegas is fun time. Are you kidding? That's great. I love fucking around on that show. But I mean, sometimes you get a little gem here and there from me. I will admit I'm pretty good at that now and then. I try to get in a word in edgewise with Mike Sartain. I try to interject with some of my material too. But that's not the show is not necessarily about that. It's about having a good, constructive, substantive conversation, right? We're not there to kick the girls off or whatever else, but like, we're not there to talk about, you want politics, go talk to Jake Shields. Go talk to, I don't know, go talk to Rogan, go talk to any of these guys, go talk to Matt Walsh. But whatever, Myron's Myron. Go take that up with him. Are the Chews? You could have just put the flag there, The blame for feminism. No, they're not. They're not to blame for feminism. Neither are the Rockefellers. Neither are the Bolsheviks. You see, the thing is like feminism doesn't work unless men are men and women are women. Like, I love it. Like, the pornography is run by the Jews, Rolo. Don't you know that? Probably. But you know what? Pornography doesn't exist if men don't want to fuck. Pornography doesn't exist if men or if women aren't willing to spread their legs and fuck. There is a certain, so people don't like it, but I'm very reductionist when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's why I say you stop looking for Jews under every fucking rock. Okay. You know, what is it? It's a full moon tonight. It must be the Jews. No, we live on planet Earth. The moon is real and it circles around, and that's why it's a full moon. The Jews had nothing to do with it. I don't know, Rolo. I think it was faked. Go, Alex Jones. I think the moon is actually a fake. I think
frogs are gay.
Frogs are gay, and it's made of green cheese. Okay, let's talk about VPN, Lightning VPN. I could do a good Alex Jones. No, it's not about the Jews. But let me explain something else to you, though. Are there other political movements? Are there commercial interests that have co-opted feminism? Yes, they have.
Watch Mad Men.
Right? Exactly. But it existed before your even knowledge of the Jews even existed, before your knowledge of the Rockefellers existed, before you, I don't know, BlackRock or whoever the smoking man in the fucking silhouettes and X-Files is, whoever. Like really stop looking for shit outside yourself. Look for what's going on right here. Deal with the problem at hand. Well, we need to talk about the Jewish question. I'm less interested in that than I am in what you think your solution is. I personally think it doesn't have anything to do with average men or average women. I think it's surface level minded women and selfishness. That's the problem with a dash of delusion. That's a lot more than a dash. Yeah, but you have to remember that if you look at like the division of labor and you look at how society is structured, if you look at sociosexual profiles, let's just say hierarchies, it's the delta males that get shit done. I mean, according to Vox Day, okay, if you subscribe to sociosexual hierarchy, if you think you're a sigma male, you better listen the fuck up, because it's not you that matter. It's the delta males matter more than any other category in sociosexual hierarchies. You lose the deltas, you lose alphas, betas, gammas, omegas. You lose everything, because the vast majority of the sociosexual hierarchy is made up of delta males who get shit done. You remove 10% of them and society collapses. I talked about that with Aaron Clary. Aaron Clary's book, who I'm going to give you a plug for now. What is it? A World Without Men. He talks about the economic and the societal impacts of like removing men from society, and like what would happen inside of like a week, inside of like 4 days. And not even all men, 10% of the male population, and you will get societal collapse. They have to be there. You need them on that wall. You want them on that wall.
A Day Without Mexicans, the movie.
Yeah. A Day Without Mexicans, yes. You need them pulling fucking weeds. You need them doing landscaping. You need them doing agriculture, man. You need men. You need men out there in the hot fucking sun, man, working out here in a fucking highway with the big old hats. Bravo, man. Fucking keep it up. Because I don't get to do this shit if you're not out there on that line. I don't get to do this shit. I am 100. Like, I know like Justin Waller uses this as part of his branding, but he is right? Like, we need to have a far greater appreciation for the everyman, the guy who showers when he comes home from work instead of the guy who showers before he goes to work. That's the guy that you need to have a way more appreciation for, because you lose him, you lose everything. So yes, I think it is average men and average women, because average women don't want to get with the deltas because they think that they deserve Justin Waller and nothing else will do. You want to, why is the marriage rate at the lowest level it's been in recorded fucking history? 6.1 per 1,000. Why? If marriage was such a fucking great deal, you'd think people would be lining up around the fucking courthouse. They're not. And it's not because, well, Rollo's telling them not to get married. No, they figured this shit out on their own. They didn't need me to tell them. They understand. You're losing the deltas. You're losing the fucking workforce. You're losing the backbone of the country, because they can't get married. The assurances that they had, like in an industrial base and textiles and steel construction and all of the old fucking, jobs that we used to have that we farmed out or where we don't need anymore. Yeah, it's definitely an economic thing for sure, but you're losing the deltas. And whether it's because of economic issues or it's because of social issues, of feminism, because of like average women don't want to get with average men. Yeah. You lose them, you lose everything. Listening to you speak is like a breath of fresh air, Rillo. I always look forward to your live streams on Sunday. Thank you very much, Uncle Luke, 1980s. Lately, I have been having Red Pill podcast fatigue due to degenerate and nonsensical conversations. Yes, that's why I'm here. And by the way, that reminds me. Okay. All you motherfuckers in the comments who's going to say, Rillo just likes to listen to his own voice. I can't believe he can go on for 3 hours and 9 minutes. It's a talk show. I do it once a fucking week with this guy over here. It's a talk show. He likes to hear himself talk really a lot, man. He could just get this shit done in like 20 minutes. Yeah, I could. But then I get this. Thank you, Uncle Luke. Thank you for your comment, sir. You know what? You get one of those. Best comment. You win the comment war today, okay? Until I get a $20. You win the comment war. You know why? Because I am the one having this fucking conversation. Who else is? Can you please tell me who else is having conversations like this? I'll wait. Who else? Go listen to Ryan Stone. You don't even know who I'm talking about. Go listen to, let's see, who else could I say? Andrew Wilson's good, but Andrew Wilson's starting to turn into kind of like more entertainment than actual information. And I'm not to take anything away from him, but he's about to go walk into the lion's den with Roma from Roma. By the way, Roma literally has an army. So I know what you're getting into with her. I don't think these guys know who Chloe Roma is. But she's not worth the trouble, quite honestly. But I understand why you're doing Destiny's not playing. We can't give him any more oxygen. Let's go find somebody else to poke in the eye. Thank you for that. Yes, this is a talk show. This is where we have substantive conversations. This is where, I mean, even when I'm riffing on Brett Cooper, at least I'm relating it to stuff in the book. I'm relating it to mental point of origin. Burden of performance. Would you like to know more?
It's examples.
It's examples.
The teaching moment.
Real world examples. That's why when everybody gives me grief about why are you talking about Michaela Peterson again? Why are you talking about Lauren Southern and Destiny? You like to gossip. Now, all I do is relate all of that shit over to what I've been talking about for ages. Since freaking Brett Cooper was a fetus. What else is here? The Out of Pocket Variety Show. 2028 and onward won't be Dems versus Republicans, liberals versus conservatives. It's going to be reduced down to men versus women. I got news for you. It already is. The Andrew Wilson, Tommy Lahren clash was a glaring example, in my opinion. Congrats on and much success with the new book. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. You know what? You get one too. Yeah, I said this in 2016 when it was Trump versus Hillary. I've said it in every election ever since then. All politics are now gender politics, and they will be so for the foreseeable future. When we keep making comparisons between Democrat women and Republican men, that's the offset. Like, one's the party of women, one's the party of men. We saw, at least we want to say the reason why Trump got elected was because there were more conservative men decided red pill guys got him out in numbers, right? They were worried about that. They were so worried that they tried to ratio me, and they tried to ratio Myron, and they tried to, and they did ratio us, because they were scared, because they don't want the Democrat leftist party, whatever the fuck you want, Marxist, the new neo-Marxists. They know that they've lost the male vote. They know that. They absolutely know that. They needed a convenient scapegoat. They needed a boogeyman such as myself, or Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is the one who got Trump elected. If there is no boogeyman, no one gets paid. And so when the Dems lost and they knew they were going to lose, they know that they can't get men to come back to the Democratic Party. They know it's not. I don't care how many fucking who was the Democratic senator that just did like the bench? He was benching, like trying to bench like 135 pounds, and Matt Walsh was talking shit about him. And because they were trying to say, oh, he's got to work his way up to like 225. But the reason why you have that, or the reason why CBS does a documentary on the manosphere, the reason why Dana Bash says, I guess we're living in the manosphere right now, is because they knew they'd lost because men voted for Donald Trump, and they came out in enough numbers to counteract that shit. There wasn't enough interest on part of women to actually go out there and counteract the men, right?
It was Zohan Mandani.
Zohan.
Yeah, Zohan.
Zohan. Keep it up, man. Sooner or later, you'll get to this 57-year-old guy's bench max, which is right about 245 right now. So, but the thing is the Democrats knew that they weren't going to get the male vote. And so what did they try to do? They tried to repress the male vote. That's how you got Destiny trying to take me out. That's how you got this fucking campaign against the red pill. That's why I keep saying guys like Lex Friedman, guys like fucking Tom Beaulieu, guys like, Chris Williamson, guys like Steve Bartlett, all the usual suspects, all the A-list podcasters who kept having Destiny on over and over and over again. Or I'm going to also name Brian from whatever podcast who kept having Farrah, Destiny, Melina, Jasmine Jafar, Pixie. All of those chicks were on the payroll of Progressive Victory, which is a PAC, a political action committee that was paying these people to go there and try to take down red pill influencers and try to stay in the limelight and try to promote. And essentially their message was repressing and devaluing and marginalizing and ratioing anything that even smelled of red pill, because they knew from the jump that they had already lost the male vote. So it wasn't about bringing men into the fold, because it's only autistic, feminized, you know what's in the Democrat Party. It wasn't me. It wasn't Mike. It wasn't Myron. Although I shouldn't say that. Myron also was the one who was at least partially responsible for popularizing Destiny as well. So whether or not it still does to this fucking day, right? So you're participating in your own marginalization every time you have this fuckwit on. Andrew Wilson, Myron Gaines. Every time you put Destiny on, every time you give him oxygen, you are contributing to their efforts to marginalize the men in the red pill. And I know you want to say, oh, it's free speech, it's this, that. No, it's not. Not anymore. Maybe in the beginning, maybe in 2023, but not in 2025, when we already know what the fuckery is behind the scenes. But yes, you are correct. Let's see. I hate when TRADCONs use the word should. Yes, because it always comes down to responsibility without authority. Here's the Out of Pocket Podcast again. Here's the real nature lesson. The male lion is the king of the jungle, and his females hunt food and bring it back to him. Nature equals fuck me, feed me. Yeah, thanks. If Allie Beth Stuckey and Brett Cooper got divorced, would it be over for the TRADCON philosophy? Will TRADCON philosophy ever go extinct? No, it won't. Because it's based on fundamental superstitions. That's why. A Krishna devotee told me to have blind faith when it comes to marriage. Religious people kind of hope for the best. Are people kind of hope for the best kind of people? Yes. Funny you should say Krishna. You know who else? You know what nobody ever mentions? Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, actually.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna. I really like her. She's got moxie. She's a Krishna. Celebrates the Krishna holidays. Hell yeah, Rolo, love the tank top, flex on the haters. Okay. Wait, let me see if I can get the lighting right here. trying to catch that light, that green light right there.
Yeah, right underneath.
Sorry, I didn't tan, but I should have tanned before I came in today. My bad. The Mr. Olympia next week at Resort World, I think. I'm going to be meeting up with Tony Huge. Do you know who Tony Huge is? I'm going to be meeting up with Tony Huge. Tony Huge is like Tony Huge's people reached out to me because they're doing a documentary with him over because he's overseas. He's kind of like the ultimate passport bro because he said, fuck it, I'm out. And he's like, I think he lives in the Philippines, Southeast Asia, somewhere over there. But he's got a harem of like 3 chicks and can bring in more. Like it's open on his end and closed on all the girls' ends. And they're like cool with that because he's like this yoked white American dude that lives there with them and like basically he's like, remember what I said about resources, territory, and access to like hot, beautiful, fertile females? Tony Huge has got all 3. So I'll be talking with him. I don't know. It'll be on his channel. I'm not doing anything with him personally, although I don't know. I might. Be on the. I might have to actually use you to produce that if it happens. But then I have him, and then I have Todd Lee, MD. Dr. Todd Lee's coming in from Michigan. I forget where he's out of, or maybe he's out of Tampa. Anyways, Todd Lee, a IFBB competitor. And you want to know what my stack is? Go talk to Todd Lee. But Todd is going to be in for the Mr. O as well. And so I will be going down this resorts world and hanging out and just like looking small next to everybody down there. I also happen to work out at Powerhouse Gym in Las Vegas. As you know, this is where the Powerhouse Gym, Las Vegas. Hide Yamagishi, 2023 IFBB Pro Champion, owns the gym. And this time of year, there are some really colorful characters that find their way into the gym. Yeah. So you might see Jay Cutler there. You might see some big motherfuckers walk in the door at this time of year. So it's kind of fun, kind of cool gym to be at this time of year. Why is it okay for women to fawn over and sexualize the singer of Bad Omens, but it is frowned upon for men to find the ladies in baby metal attractive? Because they're babies. One is grooming. The other is, well, I think you can figure that out on your own. Okay. Baby metal. Don't mention baby metal on my show. Please just don't. All right. I have nothing that you don't want to hear what I have to say about baby metal. You and Mike should check out the channel called Extinct Zoo. He's got some good videos that show prehistoric human history, which complements a lot of the red pill with fossils and hard evidence. Okay, what's it called? Extinct Zoo. All right, I'll check that out.
Seen a couple videos of them.
Extinct Zoo. All right, I'm about it. Is it like about extinct animals, or is it just like about prehistoric animals?
It's humans.
All right, cool. All right, yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe Father Edgelord could join me watching that show.
It's kind of like, it kind of goes through kind of like saber-tooths. It does like the dinosaurs that you don't know, stuff like that.
So the Pleistocene.
Yeah.
Not the Plasticine era, like Mike Sartain calls it, the Plasticine. No, Pleistocene. You got to add a little bit of in there. Oh, God. No, you do not get to say they're J-pop with the metal band. They are. Okay, you win. Yeah, actually, you know what? You get one of those for this comment. You didn't even pay me and put that on there. I'll put it on there. Yes, baby metal. Good God. How come people have a problem with Ghost, but they don't have a problem with baby metal? Ghost is just what Scooby-Doo chase music. Like Ghost is pretty fucking good as a theatrical thing. I like Ghosts. They don't have to sound like fucking Sepultura. I like them, but they are kind of like the ABBA of metal. Yeah. But I like the Phantom of the Opera thing. I like the satanic thing in it. That they're good. I like what's it? Tobias? Is it Tobias? What's his last name? Tobias something or other. The guy's a singer. Father. He's a real father. Papa Emeritus. Yeah. So anyways, okay. So that's it for today. I will be hanging out with Tony Huge. I'll be hanging out with Todd Lee, MD, this coming week. Mr. O's coming up. No Access Vegas this week. I don't think we're doing one until when are we doing the next one? We're doing one on the 29th is the next one that we have. We got too much coming up on in the so we'll be doing the 29th. The other thing that's happening on the 29th is reignite the Halloween edition. So, and by the way, if you're gonna come to if you want to participate, if you want to be in it, you can. Is that it right there?
Yeah,
that's it. Okay, that's so hit that
reignite.
That's the
QR code.
This is the Reignite QR code. Okay. So you can join Reignite there. And then there's also, if you want information about Reignite, you can hit up me or Joe Marron, who's my partner, my business partner, and Reignite. And we'll get you the price for, if you just want to be here for the event, that's one price. If you want to join the group, then join the group. Right. So that's coming up. That will be the 29th, 30th, and 31st of October. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I will have to give you the caveat first. If you're going to participate, you will have to come with a costume. You have to come with you have to go with a costume into the Tao nightclub Halloween costume contest. I mean, you could go, but you look kind of weird, like without a costume. I went as Ken last year. Okay. I went shirtless. I had the fuzzy outfit on. I went and picked out every little part of that thing, but I was 1 year late. So everybody thought I was Ric Flair. So I went with that anyways. I think I might do something different this year. We'll see. If that coat is fucking hot, man. I was sweating in that fucking thing. So anyways, that's coming up on the 30th of October. Mike Sartain's birthday is actually today. So happy birthday, Mike Sartain. He is now 48 years old. He is 2 years away from 50. That's going to be a really great one. But Mike Sartain, October 5th is his birthday. We're celebrating it on the 13th. So I'll be out and about. You will definitely want to, if you don't follow me on Instagram, why not? You can follow me on Instagram, and I will definitely be doing some reels and some videos and some lives from his birthday, which is always an event. So they'll be, he's got chicks. They'll be in some sort of theme. Maybe they'll be, last year it was pajamas, I think. Was it pajama party? And then before that was cheerleaders. Was it cheerleaders was one? So anyways, all of his girls get together. They put together, they do this for him too, by the way. They put together this themed kind of get together thing, and they all just basically show up in force. And he's got, like, I don't think I've ever seen Mike with more chicks than on his birthday. Like, he will show up with like literally 24, like 24 chicks will come, and then they'll go and they'll hit. Well, we went to Hakkasan one year, we went to Zook the other year, and usually we go out to eat or something like that. It's a really good time, and only certain guys get invited. Maybe one. But it's always fun. So that's coming up on the 13th. The 15th of October is the Pink Party in Los Angeles. That is Babes in Toyland. It's at the Mondrian. If you happen to be in Los Angeles, even if you just show up to you don't have to stay there. Just show up. It's at Sky Bar in the Mondrian, which is on it's on Hollywood. Yeah, it's on Hollywood Strip. And it's always good. I am going to do my damnedest to get to that. And yes, you have to dress up in pink. It's a pink party. It's for breast cancer awareness. That's or whatever funds research. I don't know. So that's coming up then. And that's about it, except for one last announcement. The Reignite book is out, or it's going to be out probably middle of this month. It all kind of depends on when Amazon approves it, and just going through the sort of the approval process. It usually takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days to put it through, because they usually they got a lot of books approved, right? So I will let you know when it goes live, and you can get once I've got a proof copy of it, I'll bring it in here and I'll show it to you. I'll probably go live with the cover tomorrow or Tuesday, so you can know what you're getting into, you know what you're looking for on Amazon. But the 6th book in the Rational Male series is coming out this month. So you've been waiting for it. Here it comes. My next project after that is doing the second edition of the first book. It's going to come out in hardback. If that sells well enough, I'm going to do all the books in hardback and offer them then as a collection. So got some new things coming up with that. And I think that's going to be it for us today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. Till then, peace. See you later. Bye-bye.
honestly don't get no hoes, man.
I need to feel you on top of me. It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went to bed. It was my first time. Good day, sir. What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same. Time came back.
Oh, no.
Like a matchbox stereo. Time to get my thoughts now, let go. Bound to keep me up all night. FBI, open up! But maybe we can fuck again. And maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you play on me one more again? I need to know. If maybe we can fuck again. Then maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Then I could have the best of my life. Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere. While I got your hair, why you screaming my name?
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
She was swinging in the bedroom, whole time stopping and sleeping with her head like she's Claudia Kelly.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me, ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song, getting nasty, working up and down like a body. Run me, ride me up and down like a pony, turning up my song on your body. Baby, we'll get down to it all night.
I want to cast magic missile.
And maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again. Won't you put it on me one more again? I need to know. If maybe we can fuck again. Then maybe things are different. Goddamn, baby, one more again.
Oh, those guys are bad.
The preceding podcast has been a production of the Rational Mill. Registered trademark. Just got it renewed. 2025. All rights reserved. And don't steal my new book.
Bye, Felicia.
I'm like, man, well, it's honestly don't get no hoes, man.
God wants you to have the baby.